Mother, man.
Hi everyone, this is Francisco from Skullpture, and you're listening to Murder Metal Mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right. Wow.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Hell yeah. Cool. Those guys in Skullpture did that little promo for us there. And that means it's Tuesday. And we're throwing down doing a new Murder Metal Mayhem. We're in Horns High Studios for the Horns High Podcast Network, episode 215, Chris.
Fucking right. Here we
ripping
go.
through these, man.
Here we go.
And me and Chris here at Horns High, of course. Joey over there in the 419 studios. How's it going, Joey?
Not bad. Fucking Chris, you might see my name on the fucking Zoom tonight as Moonlight Graham. And in parentheses, I had put like Graham of Dope.
Yeah, dude,
Right,
no, as
that's
soon as
what
that
we-
popped up, I was like,
that's
Graham,
what
like
he-
a gram of dope.
Yeah, that's exactly what we both thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So good.
Man, let me tell you something. I'll tell you something else about the 419 too. I'm kind of upset at myself about is that I used to be really into fucking watching like basketball and shit, and I've kind of fallen off that in some years or whatever. But I used to really love college basketball, and of course it's March Madness right now.
Right.
And I had no fucking idea because I just haven't been paying attention to it this year. But Toledo actually made it into the fucking Sweet 16.
Oh, wow.
And I wish I had known that because I would have used it to pull out some punky antics, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Shit.
good idea.
That would have been awesome, dude.
Nice. Well, that's good to know the Toledo team's good. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Very, very cool. And so what shirts we got on, Chris? What are you wearing over there?
Oh, man, I got my fleece hoodie on, but one of the many Horrid Demise shirts.
Another Horrid Demise shirt.
I love,
Fuck yeah.
and it's one of them ones that I wore with vagina and titties on it, and I wore it to work.
Right.
So, whatever, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. Tim always used to refer to that as the look of disgust. He would always say, "Man, I just love it when I get that look of disgust
Right,
at the
on the
grocery,
shirt, yeah.
the grocery store with the fucking dying fetus shirt or whatever." You know.
Yeah.
What about you, Joey? What are you doing over there?
I got this shirt last weekend on St. Patrick's Day, and it's my
Fucking-
boys here in Toledo, Alien 666.
Fucking
Oh,
right,
fucking
dude.
A. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's a cool shirt. I couldn't tell what it said, but now that you say it, I see it. All
Fucking
right.
Sean, dude.
Very
Hell yeah.
cool. And your Cubs hat, because it's baseball's getting ready to start up.
Baseball's getting ready to start, plus the C for Crips for Punky. I was watching fucking. I know I said this before on the older episodes, but like the Vera Joe Regal shit, like they released the interrogation footage of all the people that were involved. So I had been watching all that, but dude, oh my god, I was dying. Danny Bixler, it's like the fucking cousin that did a lot of the shit in that case.
Right.
And if people don't know what I'm talking about, check out fucking Goodnight Sugar Babe or go listen to our fucking episode. But
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're doing Danny Bixler. They had his interrogation in 3 different parts, so like I had to wait to see each one, so it was classic. But this motherfucker's so goddamn trashy and shit. But the fucking the detectives asking him, he was like, yeah, we just because they were I think at that time, I can't remember. They were asking him something about Vera's body and shit though, but he was like, "Oh, well, I can't say that." And they're like, "Why not?" And he holds up the Crip sign, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we understand." You can't, he's like, "Yeah, Crips get me, man. I can't be saying shit."
Oh,
And fucking,
he didn't talk about Punky.
no, he didn't talk about Punky at that. I mean, they do talk about Punky. Like, there's a ton of shit.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
oh my god, no, it's
that's
ridiculous.
funny.
But when he threw up the
That's
Crip thing,
great.
though, I was dying.
Yeah,
true?
the murder of Vera Joe Regal. I don't know what episode it was that we did that, but we get all into that. And it's Sugar Babe, Goodnight Sugar Babe. Yeah, that documentary just really fucked up.
That was a while ago, too.
It is a while ago, but that's a fucked up story. Number 5 or number 4 most listened to episode. So it's obviously a favorite with the listeners. And then I got this Blood Red Throne shirt, fucking sick as hell.
Yeah.
From Seasons of Mist, fucking sick, and definitely digging it. And been listening the shit out of those guys lately, and saw this shirt and just was like, hell yeah. So, all right, well, very good. Good that everybody's doing good. We're all in our uniforms for the night. Now, last week, guys, we did a really good one on old Robert Lee Yates.
Oh, yeah, the Spokane serial killer. Good nickname, guys.
Yeah, right? And he preyed mostly on prostitutes. The kill count was 16 that we know of, but lots of other suspicious shit following this dude where he was stationed when he was in the Army. So who knows? Definitely a sick one. And Joey, you did the metal feature. What was the band you picked for that?
I did Napalm Death, and that turned out to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, that was a good
awesome,
one.
Dude.
Very,
Loved
very
it.
cool. And we did a great Killer Cage match and Mayhem from both Chris and myself. The usual crazy shit. So if you missed episode 214, go give it a listen. And we're passing 800 listens to that one today. So thanks to the ones that have checked it out already. We also put out a bonus episode on our YouTube and a YouTube video from our interview, Joey, we did with Matt Bishop. That was cool.
Fuck yeah. Yep.
Human Artifacts, former Lividity frontman. So Matt's super cool. Great conversation just between some metalheads. I just loved it. We had such a good time, all three of us. And it was about 50 minutes, wasn't it, Joey?
Yeah.
So that was good. And then Matt premiered the remix of the song Maimed and Disfigured, which is fucking brutal as fuck.
Fucking right.
And sounds even better with the remix. So if you missed it, go give that a listen or watch it on our YouTube channel or both. We were passing 500 on that one today on listens. So thank you. That was a good one. Now, tonight, guys, we're going up north, a little feature in Saskatoon. Saskatoon, love that name. But the Freezing Deaths up there, known as the Starlight Tours. Joey, another Page a Day, topic. Wasn't that in the Page a Day?
Yeah.
Yep,
I also don't know which has more weird names. Canada or Wisconsin?
Yeah, there's some good names up there, that's for sure. But these happened in the 90s and the early 2000s with indigenous people from the First Nation group that were being picked up by the Saskatoon police when they were drunk and out and about.
It's like, fuck them.
And they take them outside the city limits and they let them walk back. And a lot of times these people were freezing to death.
Literally to death.
Yeah. And so there were some, deaths, and we're going to talk about that. It's fucked up, but it goes back even further than that. But we'll get into it. Very disturbing Canadian story. So, of course,
Gotta have Shane.
we got to get a hold of our buddy, Shane Borczuch, to come on and talk about it with us. So he's in the bullpen ready to go. And we're going to do that in the murder segment. So that should be killer.
Which is awesome, because I think whenever I was doing it during the Page a Day segment, like once we were talking about it, it was like, man, we got to ask Shane what he thinks about this or knows about it.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're going to do the episode with him.
Right. Yeah,
Fucking
totally. I was all about, mentioning that to him. Any case I see up there in Canada, definitely fire him off an email or a message and ask him about it. So that's going to be great. And I got the horns tonight, and I'm going to be getting nasty with a killer death metal band from Santiago, Chile, Skullpture, fucking badass. I had the chance to interview two of the guys on Sunday. It was a lot of fun. They had some internet issues, so the video is not usable, but the 29-minute interview I did, I thought was fun and good. And I had to do some editing, but it turned out all right. But I got a 5-minute clip to play tonight in the metal segment. And, of course, Joey, you got a lost classic for us.
I do have a lost classic, and I'm also laughing because I'm reading ahead in the notes, and I saw that Skullpture got auto-corrected to Skullplate.
I know, I
Yeah.
saw that too, dude.
Yeah.
We were talking about
We
that.
were talking about that. That used to be a heavycore band with Skullplate.
Right. Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah. So anyway, I changed it in my notes because I had seen it today and edited it. So your guys' copy is the one that still has it in there. That's funny. All right. So, and then Friday, like we did last week, we're going to put out another bonus for you, and that's the full interview that I did with Skullpture. You'll get to hear a taste of it tonight and the full thing on Friday, the day after this one comes out.
Shit, yeah.
And
Enjoy
of
that
course,
shit.
Chris, we got to do a killer cage match.
Can't let the night go by without a fucking fight in the ring. Fucking
That's right.
goddamn cage match. Killing.
Oh, yeah. 75 killers. We've come up with a list. 75 objects for them to fight with, a variable in the cage, some music to fight to, and it's a lot of fun because, Chris, our listeners give us some random numbers.
Yes, they do. And tonight we have, once again, we got fucking Justin Morris.
Hell yeah.
We got Colin Rogers.
Nice.
And the fucking pimp.
Oh, yeah.
Ray McDaddy McFalls.
Hell
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Good to
what
see
up?
Ray in there and Justin and Colin. So that's fucking cool. And we got a good one tonight in the cage. Kind of an interesting matchup tonight, Joey.
This is
What's going
one-sided.
on?
Well, on one hand, I mean, if there's one person that might be a bigger pimp than Ray McDaddy McFalls,
Right?
that's David fuck my dog bitch Parker Ray. And that's one of the pimps that's going to be fighting, and he's going to be fighting that old ass man, the gray man, Albert Fish.
Oh, man.
And Albert Fish, the best thing about Albert Fish is we say that we're doing this in their prime, and basically Albert
I
Fish's
know.
prime,
He was like 60.
about it, right? Everybody
fucking
thinks about when he's
geriatric.
an old cahoot. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's gonna
anyway,
be
that'll make
interesting.
it fun, though.
Yeah, David
Yeah.
Parker Ray, the toy box killer, going up against the gray man, Albert Fish. That's going to be good. And they're going to have a couple of objects,
Oh, man.
a variable, a song playing, so it should be brutal.
Fish better hope he's got something.
Something significant.
Dude.
Not like the pet rock or
Yeah,
something
no,
stupid
no.
like that. So it
Fish
should
better
be
have my money.
should be a good one tonight. Now, guys, we got a new sponsor we want to welcome for the next 4 episodes.
Yes.
Killers,
We do.
the card game. Awesome.
Fuck
and
yeah.
we've known Jeff Ignatowski for a few years now. He's an awesome guy. Got this amazing game. I mean, we played it here in the studio,
Yeah,
Chris.
me, you, Jen, and Courtney.
Jen and Courtney, and that was cool. And we played it. And Joey, you
Joey,
were
you
playing in
guys
the
played it?
419.
Yeah,
And
we
had
got
a-
ours up here.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We even put that on the YouTube channel. So it's a role-playing game for true crime fans. I mean, this is like perfect for people that listen to podcasts like this. This is the game for you. You get a stable of killers to play, and the last one standing, or I say slaying, wins.
Right, yeah, it's definitely
And
slaying.
you got to be the last one alive to win this thing. But it's so much fun. And many of the killers that are in this game are ones we've had as episodes.
lot of them,
you know,
definitely.
Howard Unruh. I mean, some of the more obscure ones. I really love that. And he's got the big name ones too, but he's got some really good obscure ones in there. But there's a little bio, so if you're not familiar with the killer, you can
Gives you
read
an
about
idea,
him.
and then
And
the scoring on their, what is it, this kill number?
yeah, there's a scoring of how effective they are against a certain kind of victim. I mean, it's very cool, but it is a great game for game night. You're getting with some buddies or your family, but it's dark as fuck.
Yes,
but it's
sir.
definitely for Murder Metal Mayhem fans. And in the episode description, I'm going to link to the best way you can get a hold of one of those games and maybe some of the expansion packs. I know, we ordered one for ourselves and got some of the expansion packs. And so the shipping is great, gets to you quick. So really good stuff.
Fuck yeah.
And speaking of Jeff, he's going to be a guest host with us the first week of April when we do the UK serial killer, old John Christie.
Fucking A,
A
man.
very creepy motherfucker. And
He
we
picked
got a
out who we
commercial
wanted to do.
already for that
Yeah,
one.
we do.
We already did that. The Christie abortion clinic.
Oh, my
pretty
God.
fucking disgusting. So that's going to be good. We'll have Jeff on there with us. And so that'll be a good episode, I'm sure. Big thanks to everybody out there who's listening. We keep seeing the numbers. This last week, we were at almost 4,000 total listens, man. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
3,940 listens. So thank you.
You know where that got us, though, right?
I think I do.
You know where that got us, though, right?
It did. It did. I sent you guys a text and you neither of you
I
responded.
was in the middle of work when I saw it, and I fucking.
Me too.
I was like, man, we hit the number and I didn't hear back from my
Yeah,
buddies.
dude,
you
I
know,
saw it. I
wow.
was just like, shit, fuck. I was busy as shit, and then I just like.
So we
fuck.
hit 666,000 total listens. It happened over the weekend. It was super cool. I want to thank everybody out there that listens.
Yeah, you guys
and
fucking
are
kick
awesome.
ass, dude. Fucking A.
And you know CK's throwing up the horns,
Oh,
man.
you know he is.
And CCK's here in the studio throwing up the horns always.
Always.
He doesn't ever
Fuck
throw
yeah.
up the horns.
He doesn't.
He's always in
He
in
doesn't
the horn
never
throw.
not throw up the horns.
That's right. Thanks, and the next milestone now is 1 million. So we got some work to do.
That's a while.
We got some work to do. It took us 5 years to get to 666.
That's gonna take a minute.
It's still really cool. So we got
That
a lot
just
of
means we need more people sharing.
That's
and,
exactly what it means.
telling
Yeah,
friends.
telling
and-
their friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So we got a lot on our plate tonight, guys. We're going to be taking a trip north to meet up with our buddy Shane in the frozen tundra of Saskatchewan, Canada, and little midnight strolls. So let's give Shane a call and poutine this shit the fuck up.
Fucking right. Grab your parka, grab your mittens, and grab your boots, because it's about to get cold. Let's get a murder on.
Eh?
Hey.
That was the band Seven Doors. They're from England. That is a one-man project.
Dude,
that
that's fucking
motherfucker plays
nasty.
all the instruments.
Yeah, that's fucking
drums
nasty.
and everything. I mean, this dude is ridiculous. Really, really wicked. That song is called Feast of the Repulsive
Fest.
Dead. Fucking check those guys out. They got a new one that he's got a new one that just came out, but really badass. Seven Doors. Yeah, really, really cool.
I mean, that would be a good title name for a fest of the Repulsive Dead. That would
Right. Yeah. Now, Shane, you got us here with you tonight, and you're up there in Canada. And how's everything going on up there with you guys?
Going pretty good, not too bad. It's been a fairly mild winter here anyways. We never get hit with one of those crazy shut down the city snowstorms. It's happened all
right.
around us to the east, west, to the south. I mean, you guys got hit down in the south pretty bad, but we didn't get anything like that here. So it's been pretty reasonable, actually.
That's
We're not out of the
cool.
woods yet, though. It could still happen, knock on
Oh
wood.
yeah, oh yeah. No,
Still
we
happen
really
here.
didn't get shit here this winter. I paid a guy up front for the winter, and he came here once to shovel. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So
It's like, dude, you owe me some money back, bro.
he hooked me up. He did a spring cleaning outside, gutters and everything, and gave me a really good deal. So we're good. He's a good kid. Anyway, good to have you on, Shane. And every time we do, we're talking about some craziness up there in Canada land. So should be good tonight. And our Canadian episodes have always done really well in numbers of listens. So Shane, I don't know if you're just bringing that sexiness, if that's what it is, or just that appeal you've got. So
Hell yeah.
the man of 1,000 voices, definitely we're going to show off one of those tonight in the fake commercial, which was
Yes,
great.
sir.
Right
Yes,
on.
sir.
Really good stuff. So always have fun with that. And so tonight, talking about the Saskatoon Freezing Deaths, also known as the Starlight Tours.
Which
And
makes
this
it
is-
sounds very fucking nice.
It does. Sounds very romantic, like a nice winter's activity. But this is some fucked up shit. I mean, involving the Saskatoon police picking up Indigenous men from the First Nation, taking them out to these remote areas, and forcing them out of the squad car to freeze to death
Figure it out, guys.
as they walk back to town. I mean, that is fucked up because this is some cold. You know, like we think we know cold down here in the fucking United States. Up there, I mean, this is just brutal. And these people were, you know, had no chance, you know. And this happened in the 90s and early 2000s, but it was discovered actually earlier than that. And we're going to get into it tonight. But
What is it, like minus 42 where fucking Celsius and Fahrenheit meet, something like that?
it's something like that.
And they
Yeah,
put
I
'em
think
out-
it's minus 42, something 40, something like that.
Yeah, and they put them out in that weather, dude. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this happened in the 90s and 2000s, but like I was saying, you know, it happened even earlier than that, going back to 1976. And if that's the case, there's probably a lot more of this that we don't know about.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now, just to make things clear, especially to anybody that's not from Canada that doesn't understand how this works, I thought I would try to explain this and hopefully not sound like an idiot in the process. But, you know, we are, you know, some fools from the Midwest and we do our thing. But with the indigenous people in Canada, just like here in the U.S., how it's handled with the Native Americans. So that the Canadians do with the indigenous people, they're divided into three groups. First Nation, which is the ones we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yep.
Inuit, and then Shane, how do you say that last one?
You can say it a couple ways. I say Métis, but I've heard people say Métis.
Okay, I'm glad I asked you because I would have sounded like an idiot.
I just said
saying that.
menace.
Yeah.
So Métis.
So Métis
All right.
works.
That makes sense.
All right.
So you got these three groups, nearly 2 million indigenous people there in Canada, and they make up 5% of the population. So, Shane, is there anything about that indigenous people that you wanted to bring up or maybe clarify how that works?
No, that's about right. I'll bring up a couple statistics here. With the First Nation, Inuit, Métis people, there's about 600 First Nation governments or bands, and they each have their own culture, art, music, and it's over 60 different languages. And
Goddamn.
Wow.
yeah, so a lot of diversity, and sadly, over the years, there's been just an astounding number of missing and murdered Aboriginal women, and the true number, will never be known. But over the last 30 years, I've seen it as high as 4,000 people.
Oh my
damn,
God.
dude.
That would be a good, I know I've seen something on that, Shane. That would be a good topic to do with you, maybe at another date, kind of the other side of this with the females. That'd be interesting, I think.
So if we move on to location, I guess Saskatchewan is fairly central in Canada. It's a little to the west of where I am. I'm like pretty much bang on in the center. So it's a little west of that. And it's part of the North American grain belt. So it's very flat, wide open farming country in the south anyways. And looking at it from the States, it borders Montana and North Dakota.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the biggest city I guess I would know from Montana would be Billings, and it's about a 9-hour drive north to Saskatoon.
Wow. Okay.
All right, so that ain't fucking short at all.
No,
That's a
up
long
there.
drive. That's a long drive, and so fun fact: Saskatoon was actually named after a berry, and Saskatoon pie is the fucking tits, man.
All right.
I love that name, Saskatoon. It's just such a great name. The Canadians kill it with the great town names, that's for sure. And I happen to just notice, Shane, I feel bad I did notice it at first, the Votov hat that you're wearing. That's
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell
Love
yeah.
it.
Dude, we did poutine. We should fry some fucking Saskatoon pie.
Yeah, the Saskatoon pie. Yeah, that sounds good. So very, very cool. Good to know where it is, and I'd like to kind of geographically set it up like that. And Joey, here we go. Another page a day story that
Like
we
you said,
featured on an episode. I mean, holy shit, with that amazing calendar, man.
I'm pretty positive this is the third year that I've been doing it, like the third one I've had, right?
I think so. I think so.
So we've gotten, a good handful of ones, and it's funny because we were talking about that as we did one recently that was a fucking page a day too, the Winters.
Right.
Winters.
Shirley Winters, yeah.
But it's funny because every time we were talking about it, then we're like, "Oh yeah, we did this case," and we always forgot the Vince Lee case, which was the original one. I think that we
Oh
did.
yes, it was.
And we got Shane on there too. So
That's right. Shane's first episode.
Yeah, that was a good
Vince
one.
Lee. That was a brutal one. That's for damn sure. So
I'm gonna eat
definitely,
some faces.
definitely some good page a day stuff there. We got a new thing we're going to introduce tonight in the Mayhem segment, but we're going to be reading from a serial killer cookbook, and we're going to randomly pick pages out and read a little segment from it. So that'll be fun. We'll do that in Mayhem. So, Chris, I mean, do you think a lot of our listeners, which are of course mostly U.S.,
All right.
are going to be familiar with this story?
I don't honestly think so, dude. I had no idea until Joey read the page a day. I never even heard of this shit, dude.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, what did you know about
me
it,
neither.
Shane?
Yeah, Shane, I mean, I'm sure you obviously know a lot more about this subject.
Oh yeah. It's been in the news quite a bit over the years. It's pretty common knowledge, I guess, if you pay attention to the news, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, no, I would have figured the same thing. Joey, what about you?
No, I didn't know anything about it until I saw the page today, but that's why I was glad to get Shane on here because,
Yeah.
like he said, over there, more common knowledge, people know about that, and it's
Right.
great to have his insight for us to do this one.
No, it really is. It really is. That's very cool. So I had never heard of it either until the page a day. Talked with Shane about it. Of course, like I said, he knew all about it. But, you know, it is more of a regional story that didn't get a lot of play seemingly outside of Canada. But it does deserve attention, and I'm really glad that we're doing this one tonight. Now, also mentioning some statistics, some things I looked up, that Saskatoon has a population of just under 300,000 people. There are approximately right now 460 police officers, but at the time of the Starlight Tours thing was going on, there was one police officer I saw interviewed, and he said there were only 2 or 3 cops that were Indigenous people of the 350 cops that were there at that time. Now there's more, but at that time there was 350. So, you know, only a few, you know, and that's usually not good when you're trying to get,
trying to deal with
people,
minorities and
you know,
shit,
people just get resentful.
Minorities, but
Yeah, they get resentful. Now, Shane, how big of a problem is this with police and mixing with the Indigenous people? I mean, is this a big issue over there?
Yeah, it's very similar to, you know, like what you guys have down there in the States. It's trust issues. It's a fairly big problem right across Canada. I mean, the legacies of colonization and assimilation leads to distrust with the government agencies, the RCMP, police, and you can add the church into that as well. And just to show you, during the Starlight Tour investigations, they set up a little bit of a hotline to receive current and historical complaints against the police. They received over 800 calls, but no one would come forward and actually go on the record. You know, they're scared of reprisal and police lashing out at them. And I mean, if you go on YouTube or wherever, you don't have to look very hard on the internet to find examples of violence, excessive force against Indigenous peoples at the hands of the police. And one thing that actually brought it to the front a bit was the George Floyd case. It actually revived conversations quite a bit.
Oh, interesting.
I think they have like the same issues. Like, I know it's above Canada, but it's still United States. The Indigenous people in Alaska,
Right.
They treat the Indigenous people in Alaska like they're fucking crap, basically, too. It's like,
Now, do they have their own police, like these groups? I mean, are they in like a community, or are they just kind of spread out amongst everybody else?
Yeah, they do have their own police forces.
Okay.
Band police, yeah.
Yeah. See,
And-
I wondered how that worked when you got the two different, you know, even the police forces. Do they get along with each other? Or are they kind of at odds?
In the smaller communities, they'll usually have our CMP detachments.
right on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were talking about with that Gabriel Wortman. I know I didn't realize that with the way the RCMP deals with those small communities that don't have their own police department. So I never thought of that with them. And we have the county, like a sheriff is how we do that. So that's just interesting how different we are and how close we are to each other. So
yeah, then
so
the
cool.
bigger bands will have their own police forces.
Right. So the first couple that we're going to talk about here, Rodney Nastus and Lawrence Wegner, these guys both died in 2000. They were both members of the First Nation group and had issues with drugs and alcohol. Lawrence Wegner was of mixed race. His mother was First Nation. And their bodies were found in remote areas in the outskirts of Saskatoon. And inquests into both deaths proved that they died of hypothermia. And I'm glad they were able to figure that one out. Gee, how did this person die? They're frozen solid, motherfucker.
Yeah. You gotta let them thaw out for 3 days before you can even do an autopsy.
Exactly. So that just always makes me laugh when I watch like a true crime documentary and they got some PhD with like 14 initials after his name,
Right.
And he's talking about something that's so fucking obvious, like, gee, I'm glad they had to bring him in here for this,
He died from a fucking goddamn 9mm bullet through the skull. Oh, well, that's the only wound he has, and his brain's laying on the floor. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Glad we got you down here. But you're talking about these really cold temperatures getting down to 5 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 21 Celsius. And that's some horrible shit to be dealing with on a dark road in the middle of the fucking night.
In the middle of nowhere.
And, that's the kind of weather you can get frostbite in minutes to exposed skin. So, and Joey, these guys both had issues with alcohol. So it's believed the police would pick them up. And how did they do that, man?
I mean, they pick them up on, bullshit, trumped up charge. And yeah, these guys, not just these guys, but a lot of them, had issues with alcohol. And they would take them out, on a long, and that's why they call it the Starlight Tours, because they take you out through the night, out into the fucking edge of the fucking city, and drop you off in more of a rural spot, and be like, okay, here you go, now you can walk it off, and go
because they don't want to deal with the paperwork.
Right, and they don't want to deal with all that, plus, there's probably a good handful of them that were, tallying up a fucking kill
scorecard.
Count. Yeah, but, the thing is, too, is I know back whenever I used to drink heavy and I'd get wasted, and Chris, he still gets drunk and wasted, so he knows. But, I mean, there was times, I'd be so fucking hammered, sometimes I'd be leaving a party or leave somebody's house, and, I'm in the town that I live in and find myself walking the wrong direction and fucking not knowing where the fuck I'm at, because I'm so lit. And fucking, I can't imagine being out there. And a lot of these people weren't dressed for the situation.
Right.
They were just out at a bar or whatever. So they're not to mention they're drunk and alcohol thins your blood, so you're more likely to die from hypothermia. So everything about it was just fucking, almost fucking scripted to work in the police's favor one way or another. They didn't have to put up with shit. They got rid of what they deemed was trash or whatever the situation was.
Yeah, it's just fucked up. I mean, that's what they were claiming. I think I saw on one of the programs I watched where they were saying, oh, we just let them walk it off. But, no, you're taking these guys like a little bit too fucking far to be walking it off, especially with one shoe and whatever other fucking bullshit they were pulling, which we're going to get to here in a minute. So, I mean, that's how Bon Scott fucking died, and AC/DC fucking froze to death in his car because he was fucked up. Like Joey said, that's just a common fucking thing, that people that are drunk are more susceptible to that. And this is fucking winter, and Bon Scott was in February he died. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it seems obvious to me, and definitely don't want to be taking them that kind of distance. I mean, Chris, since you're the podcast resident expert on alcohol consumption.
Dude,
How rough would it be to be walking home drunk like that out that far?
first of all, these guys were pussies. Deal with it, dude. Get you a goddamn motherfucking bottle
So
of
they
whiskey.
don't meet
you
up with
Nah,
the nation?
yeah,
all?
fuck that, dude.
Your nation.
Nah,
I
but-
mean, we're not First Nation.
Nah, but fuck
Shawback
that, dude.
Nation.
I mean, I've done it before, and I've fucking been, like Cash was saying, fucking walking from wherever, cold as fuck, and by the time I got home, I'm just like, fucking just like dying, like just freezing my fucking nuts off, and I'm like, I am so happy to be home, and then just you're like just so fucking exhausted already when you make it to your destination. You're
Right.
just so exhausted from the cold and fucking being drunk that you just, as soon as you walk in, you hit that warmth, you're just out. So like being out in that cold and having to try to keep pushing fucking forward, keep pushing forward. I got to get somewhere warm. Eventually, it doesn't take that long before you're just like, I'm fucking done, dude. And you got to sit down and take a break. And that's probably the worst thing you could do in that fucking cold is stop and take a break,
right,
because you're just, your body's just going to give up.
Yeah.
And you're just going to sit there and shiver and freeze, and that's it.
Yeah, that's bad news, man. I mean, that is
And you're already
definitely bad.
stumbling.
Right.
Imagine
And
walking.
your lap's covered in piss, so you're frozen. crotch.
Right, exactly, dude. You don't piss yourself.
We learned a lot about dealing with the cold when I was in the Army, because when I was at Fort Knox, Kentucky, when I was in basic, we went to the field like the last week of basic. You're out in the field like for a week solid, and the warmest it got was 0.
Yep.
The warmest
That's
it got.
fun.
It was fucking brutal as fuck. So yeah, but we learned a lot about, how to dress and layers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And don't piss yourself.
And yeah, don't unless you want to, have to sit in frozen urine, I guess. But
It's warm at first,
but I thought we'd ask you, Chris. I mean, since that's kind of your forte is drinking over there. Now another case in January of 2000 involving Daryl Knight, who said he was picked up by 2 police officers, Munson and Hatchin, and they were not the same 2 that we're going to mention here in a little bit. So different officers here. This was being done by others on the force. So this
yeah,
is
it
not
was
just
multiple.
those 2 guys.
cops, yeah.
Yeah, and he said they dropped him off in the middle of fucking nowhere, and when he told them, I'm going to freeze to death, their response was, that's your fucking problem. And he was able to get to the power station. They showed that video where you could see the power station in the background. And he got lucky that somebody came to the door and let him in and got himself a taxi.
Yeah, they were basically like, what the hell are you doing out here?
Yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah, I mean, he was lucky. I mean, he
fucking
could have
cops,
easily
dude.
been one of those, that ended up dead. The cops would, claim they gave him a ride home, but that was bullshit. And they were both found guilty of assault and unlawful confinement and wound up getting sentenced to 8 months in prison. So not really enough time, but, that's
And
something.
the assault charge was dropped, actually, and out of that 8 months, they served 4.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's frustrating as hell.
I mean, at least they got some time and did some time, actually.
Yeah, at least they did something,
And
and he didn't die, thankfully. But still, that's fucked
And
up.
I'm sure there's multiple indigenous people in the system, and they're looking at these motherfuckers like, what the fuck?
Right?
And they were probably scared for their lives, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the police said these were isolated incidents and not something that was rampant throughout the Saskatoon police, which, like I said, had 350 officers in uniform at that time. 2003, the police chief, Russell Sabo, actually admitted that there was a possibility the police were dumping First Nation men in these isolated areas. He was the one who mentioned that an officer had been disciplined as far back as 1976 for having done this with a First Nation female. So the first case was a female that we know of. And then he had met with Daryl Knight after his run-in with the cops, and he vowed he would get to the bottom of these accusations. So, I mean, Shane, this is fucking outrageous, man, that it goes back that far, and we're talking about a female as well.
Yeah, and I heard that she was pregnant, too, and...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. So whatever happened with that case? The guy got disciplined? Is that the one that got disciplined, or?
Well, like you said, the police, they first insisted this was an isolated incident, and then when they started looking into it, the police chief had to backtrack on what he said, and
of course,
thankfully the case from '76 was still there. It didn't, sometimes records have a tendency to disappear.
Right.
So once they discovered that, the chief had to backtrack a bit, and it's the way it goes, eh? Deny until you're proven wrong, and then you change your answer. And of course, there's some good cops. Not all cops are bad, and
of course,
there was one patrol cop who was investigating, on his own. He's a patrol cop. He's not in homicide or anything, so he's doing this at personal risk to his job and everything, and
getting in too deep.
He brought the evidence to the attention of his staff sergeant, and he was actually threatened. They told him, don't pursue this matter, or something's going to happen to you. And
oh man,
so very hard to investigate internally. And the chief, he pretty much came out and said, there's such a thing as the blue wall or the blue line. I don't know what you guys call that in the States, but
the blue line,
where the cops cover for each other, and so that makes internal investigations pretty difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like the same kind of crap that unfortunately has gone on in some of the police departments here. But, you hope that these things get fucking fixed and moving forward fucking put an end to this archaic fucking bullshit. This is just fucking ridiculous.
Have you guys recently had a female officer have like half of the department run a train on her while her husband's sitting on her?
That story's fucked up. Those memes are just relentless. That's just fucking wow. That's just fucked up. So Joey, it looks like it took some guts, at least for the guy to admit fault. I mean, wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I think he was being pressured from a lot of different points. Organizations and rights groups and things like that. I think they were all coming at them. It was time that they needed to do something about it and take a little bit of responsibility. So, by him, even opening the door to, try to shed light on all this. You talk about they had an incident all the way back in 1976. This is a thing that those police were doing. Not all of them, like we said, but there obviously was a group of them. This continued throughout the whole fucking next couple decades. Right. So it was passed on. It was something that they did regularly enough that they had a fucking modus operandi themselves on how they did this. And I think that's one of the creepiest things. So all this time, and it had a name. It's called the fucking Starlight Tours.
Right.
So
right. For a reason.
So people in Canada, they knew what was going on. So it's like, no, this has to be fucking brought up. And I think even to save face at all, I think the chief of police, I think he had to open it up, and maybe in that sense he makes himself look a little bit better because he was the one that finally did something about it. So the rest of Canada's got his back at least. The department might be a little pissed at him for a while, but
Right. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it took some guts, for him to do that. I'm just wondering how about beyond Saskatoon, Shane? I mean, this can't certainly be isolated to this one area. Is this something that's
definitely
been heard
not.
of in other places?
It was Canada-wide. Yeah, for sure. It's Canada-wide issue.
Wow, because that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're talking about one area of a very large country that this is happening, and obviously this had to be going on in other places. So it's fucked up. This is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, as they say. So definitely crazy. Now, Chris, does it get you upset talking about First Nation with the whole Shawback Nation? I mean,
Nah.
do we need to clear that with the nation before we talk about any other nation?
They are the First Nation, so
All
I mean,
right.
I can't bitch much, man.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because if you're getting all squirrely over
they
there.
cool with me. If they got a problem with me, then we might have a problem. No,
All right, very
they are
good.
First Nation. Man.
All right, very good, very good. So what I find interesting is we see examples of racism all over the world, but the way the media, at least here, makes it sound as it only happens here in the United States, but as we're talking about tonight, I mean, this is a Canada-wide issue, and has been for a while. And no matter where it's going on, it's fucking horrible, and it shouldn't be happening.
No, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's not just here, but it cracks me up. And then I know I was watching some documentary about like the country that occupies the most land outside of its borders. And like the U.S. is always getting dinged for, oh, you're going to this war because you want to take and all this bullshit. It's England. I mean, they fucking own like a ton of shit, I'm like, what about them? Like, throw them under the fucking bus for once, It's not just the United States. So
Don't blame me.
I just thought it was interesting because, like Shane said, it mirrors a lot of the same issues we have here with minorities and the police and how they interact and all that. Now, Shane, the case of 17-year-old Neil Stonechild is really what brought this all to light. You want to give us kind of a summary of what his story was?
Well, Stonechild, he was known to police. He had multiple run-ins with the police over stuff like, theft, intoxication, public intoxication, and breaking probation. And the night he was killed, he actually had a warrant out on him for bailing from the juvie center he was staying at. He bailed on that. And on the night he died, he was at a house party with his buddy Jason Roy. They were playing cards, drinking pretty heavily. And they left the house party short before midnight, and they went over to a 7-Eleven, get some snacks, but neither of them had any money, so they just started walking through the store down the aisles and eating stuff off the shelves.
That's fun.
Okay.
So
You ever done that?
And no comment. The clerk chased them out and called the police, so they got the heck out of there, and they got the heck out of there with the police on the way. His buddy Jason wanted to go back to the party, but Neil, he wanted to go visit someone else who just lived pretty close to the party, and they got into an argument over that. They kind of separated a little bit, went their own ways. And by then the police had shown up, and they found Neil. They recognized who Neil Stonechild was. They arrested him, beat him up a little bit, and handcuffed him, put him in the back of the police car. And shortly after that, they came upon Neil's buddy, Jason Roy, and they questioned him. And thankfully, the police ran into Jason because his testimony is the only thing that
his
links.
testimony,
Right.
Yeah, that's the only thing that links Stonechild being in the back of that cruiser.
Right. Yeah, definitely. He was key.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. So then, he's in this car, and his friend sees what's going on, and this is what I thought was an interesting part of the story was that when the police did check for the alias that he gave him, that Jason Roy had given him, it shows it in there. There's like a timestamp on it, so you can see like when they checked.
Right.
And then Jason said they were drunk, had a 40-ounce bottle of vodka between them.
That's a fucking bunch of vodka, bro.
Yeah, it's a whack.
That is a lot. 3 minutes later, then they call in Stonechild's name, and then 5 minutes later, they call in the name of Bruce Janelle. But he said no one else was in the back of the car when he was being questioned by the police officers. So just some shadiness going on here. Constable Sanger and Constable Hartwig were the two involved in this situation. And like Shane said, that witness, Jason Roy, he's the one that, said he saw him I mean, that guy's got to feel guilty, you know, for not being able to do more. You know, I think
Neil's
anybody
in the back
would
of the
beat
car,
themselves
like yelling,
up.
like screaming, like, "Yo, help me! They're gonna kill me!"
Yeah,
like,
he said there was like blood on his nose and
Right.
streaking across the glass. And
like
shit.
they'd already
I mean,
beat him and shit, and then
that's fucked up.
they fucking throw him out with one shoe.
Yeah. So 4 days later, though, Joey, what do they find, man?
They find Stone Child's body, and it's out in a field. Some construction workers found him. He only had one shoe on.
Right.
But, you know, they say they do an investigation. They find that there's no foul play at hand, and that's it. That's case closed. But that's
He was just out there
fucking.
fucking drunk and froze himself to death.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, definitely sounds shady as fuck. And then, Chris, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are called in to help, and what happens with that?
2003, there's an inquiry to Neil's death. Fucking
Right.
they said that he was fucking picked up by the cops and shit before his death, but didn't accurately note their interaction with him like they should have.
Right.
But fucking the marks found on his nose and shit, they said could have been made by the handcuffs.
Right.
Which is pretty fucked up because I don't think so. Because like the way fucking what's his name? His homie fucking said fucking
Jason Roy.
Jason Roy, yeah. Like he said he was like just like profusely kind of bleeding out of his nose and shit. Because I
Right.
listened to interviews with him. He's just like
Yeah.
like he gets choked up thinking about it. Like that was like one of my best friends. Fucking
Yeah.
I should have done more and shit.
Yeah, and you would feel guilty as fuck.
Right, and fucking they say there wasn't enough sufficient evidence to fucking on his cause of death, so the inquest ended, and they fucking just there they go.
Yeah. So it ended, 2004. That was over with. I saw there were over 60 witnesses in the inquiry. So this was a big deal, and it got a lot of people, nervous in the police department, I'm sure, because they definitely looked like they were taking this shit seriously. Now, Shane, they also said the relations between the Saskatoon police and the First Nations were absolutely terrible, as you said. So they wind up bringing in this former cop. What was the deal with that guy? That was pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah, he was First Nations himself, and they brought him in to investigate it. So he had a little bit of different take on it, and people trusted him a bit more, and
Makes sense.
so it was a bit easier for him to talk to people and for people to trust him.
Right.
It's like I'm looking out for my people here. You guys, these cops ain't looking out for nobody but these cops.
Yeah,
Hey, Shane, I got a question for you. Do the police up there, do they have to wear the body cams like they all do down here now?
no body cams.
Oh, shit. Okay. So, because I know once that happened, that brought a lot of accountability forward where police can't do a lot of the shit they used to do. And it
Because
fucking
they're on
destroyed-
video.
Yeah, because now
Yeah.
you're on video. So you guys are still in the dark with all that, huh?
Well, you don't hear about Starlight Tours anymore. All the police cars have GPS now, so it's going to be pretty difficult to pull that kind of shit off nowadays. And
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you guys don't have the body cams because, like Joey said, I mean, here they're everywhere. And that big Murdoch trial, that was a big part of it, was what they saw in the body cam. So very, very cool the way they do that now, I think. I mean, this is unbelievable.
A lot of times, though, those body cams fall off, quote, fall off.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
sure. So, at the conclusion of the inquest, they did see that both the police officers, Sanger and Hartwig, were both fired. They appealed that decision, but it was upheld. And so at least that was done. But I feel they got off way too fucking easy with this one. It's amazing they didn't get some jail time like the two cops that, we talked about earlier that got 8 months. I'm just kind of surprised that
these guys
didn't get shit, Now, I saw that in April of 2018, Ken Thomas said that he was picked up and dropped off on the outskirts of town for no fucking reason, and an inquiry into his accusations was proven unfounded. So it could have been, I'm not saying it was, but it could have been, hoax.
He just
Don't
looking
really
like
know.
to get something like.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
hard
could
to
see-
say.
yeah.
People do stupid shit. Who knows? It could have been legit, though. I really don't have any idea. Now, Joey, we saw that here in the United States, with the ridiculous crap from Jussie Smollett, who claimed that the guys attacked him and racial slurs and punching him and all
he
this
paid
shit.
them.
MAGA country and all this crap. And, it seems like, it's amazing that, both countries are seeing similar things with just races not getting along,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We're close enough, though. We only share a border, so a lot of the things that fucking get brought up or
That's a good point.
brought into view here or there do get pushed over onto the border. We do have similar outlooks and aspects about the way things are going on. A lot more than, like, say, we would have with, Japan or whatever.
Of course,
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think with Canada, I think we have really good relations, honestly. So
Yeah.
Fuck you, Shane.
Hey, now. But, hey, you wasted 3 fucking aprons on this guy. So yeah, the if that guy was bogus, and claiming this happened and it did, and that's reminded me of the Jussie Smollett thing. I just saw a documentary about that, and it's just so fucking ridiculous,
Right.
that anybody took that seriously. I mean, it's just so absurd. I watched this body language podcast. It's really good. 4 different experts, and they show like Bundy, Gacy, like a bunch of them, and they go through and watch it, and then they comment on how they answered questions
And how they.
deception and stuff like that. It's fascinating to me.
makes-
As a writer, I'm really
Did you ever think
zoning
maybe
in
some of
on
these-
that, of using facial expression to help create tension in scenes. And so I'm really looking at it from that.
I think those body language experts are fucking serial killers themselves because they know what to look for.
They
so they
could
can
be.
control
They could
their own
be.
shit.
They
They're just
could
like,
be.
oh, yeah, we good.
Yeah, but they did one on Jussie Smollett. It was really funny, and that's what made me want to watch it. Just like, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. And Chris, I saw that the Saskatoon Police Wikipedia page had a little bit of controversy.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
They have that Starlight Tours section on the Wikipedia page, and from 2012 and 2016.
I'm sure they love that being on there.
Yeah, it was
right?
gone. And apparently that was like when it was taken down, it was done from the Saskatoon fucking police department. So, I mean, that's going to tell you something right there. If they don't want you to see that, there's either something going down. I just don't know why they would fucking want that to be disappeared, because if that really happened to bad cops, you want it known like, hey, this did happen, but these cops aren't in the system anymore.
True,
As
true.
opposed to fucking like just straight hiding, like, no, that don't happen. That don't.
Yeah, and they were able, though, to prove that the person that took that down was in the police department using a police department computer.
Right. Like,
So that's
dude,
just fucking stupid, man. I mean, just fucking stupid. So the police claim they were unable to pinpoint who at the department was doing it, but they just know it was coming from the department. What do you think about that?
Yeah, pretty fucking hard to believe, especially since it was done repeatedly. It wasn't just once;
Right.
it was repeatedly edited, and I mean, they're pretty stupid not to cover their tracks. They could have used a VPN on somebody's home computer, and no one would be the wiser. But why they're doing that at the station is beyond me.
that's
and,
Right.
stupid, dude.
Like BTK
Yeah, look-
doing it from the church and saving it
Sending
on a
that
floppy
floppy
disk.
disk. Like, come on.
So they're trying to whitewash it, and trying to put it behind them, trying to whitewash it, sweep it under the rug.
Right.
Nothing to see here, folks. And
Yeah, that's just amazing. I mean, you'd think how brazen these motherfuckers are. They got away with it and just keep doing it like, fuck you. Like they don't even give a shit. We're going to investigate ourselves. It's like the biggest fucking con of all. You know, you're quote unquote investigating, but you're fucking dirty as fuck. Everybody's in on this shit, even up at the top. I mean, it's messed up. It's the same kind of crap, you know, we've talked about so many times with cases right here, you know. So it's just it's crazy, man. It really is.
Yeah. And with all the, all the new policies and programs that they implemented from the investigations, and I really don't know what kind of strides they've been making, or if it's all just talk. And because recently there have been a few cases of First Nations people getting killed by police doing wellness checks.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, recently there's been a lot of focus on that, and they're starting to rethink when and where law enforcement should take a lead on a crisis situation. And they're looking at, getting things like crisis teams to address mental health and addiction issues instead of, sending out the cops guns blazing.
Which is exactly what they're talking about doing here, too. That's like...
Wow.
The United States, like especially after all the George Floyd and all that shit, that's a huge part that they were bringing up, is that we don't need the cops out there as much as we need people who can help you with mental health. It's such a fine line, though. Like, man, these people are dangerous, and it's like, okay, you're great with mental health and shit, but if this motherfucker comes at you on some violent shit,
right?
Are you really gonna do something? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's definitely, like you said, Joey, a fine line, and I think both sides are just struggling. You know, it's just because you get these violent, people doing these crimes. I mean, probably having some serious mental health breakdowns. And Chris, taking his piss break here, jumps in. He's such a professional about it. He's just very slick, gets up and goes and does his thing, comes back in, times it just right with the notes. So
it happens.
Oh, you're just a professional, Chris. I mean, Jesus, you've done this
I'm very far from
215 times, So I didn't see that the two constables that were involved in the Stonechild death were given any sort of prison time. They just got fired. So that's fucked up. I did see there was a documentary made about Daryl Knight's experience, which is the one I watched, Two Worlds Colliding. It was a winner of the Canada Award, and I thought it was really good. It was very well done. And there have been a handful of bands that have done songs about this, and there was also a play called Starlight Tours as well. But again, not a lot of press outside of Canada here. But there are people trying to help, like we talked about with the liaison police officer. This guy organizes events with the Indigenous children and really trying to get the police in the communities and getting to meet the folks and trying to hopefully make them feel like they can trust them and if something's going on. But as always, a few bad apples makes the whole fucking bunch look bad, because like we said, not all police officers do stupid shit like this. Unfortunately, a small handful can do a lot of harm and gets people fucking upset, and people, unfortunately, in this case, dying. I mean, this is just terrible. Anything to add to this one, guys? Starlight Tours?
Nah, I don't got anything except
nope.
It's fucked up shit.
No. Yeah, making someone, forcing someone to freeze like that is tantamount to torture, basically.
No, it is.
Yeah, that is absolutely terrible. I couldn't even imagine how that would feel. I mean, just awful. So, and the way that Roy explained, what he saw with his friend, getting carted away. I mean, how terrible is that? Screaming and trying to get out of the back of the car, and you're all bloody.
Right, and as the cops living there doing that, what the weather's like, and you don't want, like you said, Shane, torture. You don't want to be out there.
Right.
And now you're just taking random people and just dropping them off and knowing what is going to fucking happen. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a death sentence, basically.
Exactly.
It's a death sentence.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially if you're drunk. Especially that much worse. I did my research watching a few different documentaries. As I mentioned, specifically, though, that Two Worlds Colliding was excellent. It's on YouTube. The Criminals podcast I thought was pretty decent. They interviewed a former Saskatoon police officer who spoke out about this. Very interesting to get his perspective. I'm not sure if it was the same First Nations officer that we talked about earlier. I don't remember the name. Unfortunately, didn't write it down. But the podcast was pretty decent. There's some good stuff out there, but not a lot. Again, seems like it's somewhat of a Canada-only story. So hopefully bring some light to this with some U.S. and other listeners in other countries that maybe are not familiar with this story. So yeah, if you want to read about it or check some stuff out, there's something to get you started. Of course, Shane, we love having you on, so thank you for coming on again. We're going to keep you on to the end of the segment because Joey's getting ready to do his thing in some page a day. And also, just wanted to say thanks, man. It's always fun to have you on, man.
Well, no, thanks to you guys, too. It's always my pleasure to talk with you. And congrats on 666,000 listeners.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. We know CK's throwing up the horns. CCK is throwing up the horns back there. And yeah, what a milestone. Very, very cool. So thanks. And you're a part of this. And this is just really awesome. And so, yeah, we're going to keep you on here to the end of this. But I just wanted to say that before we got caught up in the next craziness that's about to unfold. But next week, we're doing another fucked up story. I know I always say that, right?
Every time.
It's the most fucked up story.
Always fucked up.
I think Pedro Lopez is about as bad as it gets. So I think that's the worst.
Peter Scully, man. We need to do Peter Scully.
We need a scale, But anyway, next week, we're going to Ohio, southern Ohio, the foothills of the Appalachians. So these are some backwoods individuals, okay?
Well, what y'all want to do now?
That's right. Pike County murders. But this is fucked up. This is not the 419, Joey, I checked. This is the 220-326-740 or 937. So
Yeah,
still
this is Southern Ohio.
Yeah. 419 has such a cool ring to it, but none of those numbers are cool like 419. Now, this happened in April of 2016. 8 individuals from one family were murdered in 4 separate locations on that night.
Crazy.
Fucking brutal. I mean, execution style shootings, kids, adults. I mean, this is fucked up. And the way they planned this shit out is so heinous. I mean, this is a good one to do. It's a terrible story, but this is recent. Now, 3 of the 4, there's a mom, a dad, and their 2 sons that did this. 3 of the 4, their cases have been resolved. One was found guilty. The other 2 pled guilty and took a deal and testified against all the others. The last one is the father. His is getting ready to happen. It was ready to happen, and he bumped it to next year. So I figured, fuck it, let's just do the case. It's a Hatfields and the McCoys modern. Brutal shit. And we're going to dig into that one next week. So that should be a good one, talking about some Pike County murder stuff. There's some good, if you YouTube that, there's some really good court podcasts on there that talk about this case. You could see interviews with people. I mean, it's very, very fascinating. They show the crime scenes. These were all like mobile homes, I think. But they come through and it's just
annihilation.
A fucking bloodbath. Yeah, it's bad. Joey, what about Page of Days, man? What do you got for us?
I got some. Now, I got a couple this week, and then next week I'll probably only have a couple also because they did a big segment on the Hart family crash, which I actually already talked about last year
the Hart
with Page
family
of
crash
Day.
is crazy.
And I think that's on our list anyway, so I'm not going to talk about that, but that's a super fucked up case. So
it is.
They did a thing about that, so
okay.
I'll skip over that. But last week, for our listeners that are pretty regular, they'll remember I talked about a dude named Jack Murph the Smurf Murphy.
Oh yeah, you teased this last week.
Yeah, in the Diamond Heist, and I told y'all that this week's first one is called The Whiskey Creek Murders and involves Jack Murph the Smurf. So we'll do that one.
Fucking
Whiskey Creek. Yeah, this is for Shawback because it says whiskey in it.
Yeah, Shawback Nation.
So, the jewel heist at the American Museum of Natural History wasn't the last time that Jack Murph the Smurf Murphy would find himself on the wrong side of the law. In fact, his crimes grew even more sinister after he served his time for the heist. And that includes his involvement in the brutal Whiskey Creek murders. In 1967, the bludgeoned and stabbed bodies of 2 women were found weighted down in Whiskey Creek Canal near Hollywood, Florida. The women were identified as Terry Ray Frank and Anna Lee Moan, and they had been suspected of stealing nearly $500,000, or $4 million today, in stocks from the brokerage firm that they worked for in Los Angeles.
God damn.
The theft was discovered after the women quit and moved to Florida, where they had moved in with Murph the Smurf Murphy.
That's fucking
Oh, God.
So he's arrested for the murders along with an accomplice named Jack Griffith. Murphy enters a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity, and he spent several months in a psychiatric hospital, but then the judge found him competent to stand trial. So in March 1969, Murphy was found guilty of first-degree murder of Terry Ray Frank and sentenced to life in prison with hard labor. His accomplice, Griffith, was charged with second-degree murder and received a 45-year sentence with hard labor. Murphy says that there was a third man, because that's what they always say, named Rusty, that actually murdered the 2 women, and that he and Griffith were merely there to help dispose of the bodies.
Right.
And no one was ever tried for Anna Lee Moan's death in that case. While in prison for Frank's murder, Murphy was also charged with conspiracy to commit robbery and assault for serving as the getaway driver in the 1968 attack on socialite Olive Wofford, who was a big name back in the 60s. For this crime, he received another life sentence plus 20 years. So, in 1974, 5 years into Jack Murphy's sentence for murder, robbery, and assault, a group of champion athletes and local businessmen visited the Florida State Prison where he was incarcerated, and the group inspired Murphy to turn his life around. He became a mentor to the other men he housed within the prison, and he participated in the prison chaplain program and led Bible study. His earliest parole eligibility date was November 2005, but because of his good behavior, that date was incrementally moved back 19 years, and he was paroled back in November 1986. Now, his ministry was prolific. He visited more than 1,200 prisons, and he became a keynote speaker on the role religion can play in crime prevention and rehabilitation.
God damn.
The conditions of his lifetime parole were terminated by the Florida Parole Board in 2000, and he died in Crystal River, Florida on September 12th, 2020. So,
God
Murph
damn.
the Smurf.
Murph the Smurf.
Why Smurf though? I mean, does that mean something other than I think it does? Because I just think of those little blue.
That's all I
And you
got.
know what?
That's all I got.
And let me say that it's because I smoke so much weed, I keep saying Murph the Smurf. That's not what it is. It's Murph the Surf.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
S-U-
Murph the Surf.
So, yeah. Which also, I don't understand what that means either. So, regardless. Either
Weird.
way, I don't get it.
Smurf or Surf, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It is funny
just a
because
cool
after you
name.
said, I knew I kept saying Smurf because
That's
I'm fucking
hilarious.
idiot. But anyway.
That's hilarious.
So,
419.
okay, so, yeah. So this is the last one I got. Like I said, I was going to make it short this week and next with Page a Day, but we love them, obviously. They give us good cases. We
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about shit,
Good
so.
stuff.
All right. So this one's called Teen Makes It Rain. So you know Punky loves this one.
Oh, yeah.
An Ohio teen had a lucrative spring break in 2015.
Obviously,
The
Ohio.
Yeah. The 13-year-old returned to school with $25,000 in $100 bills that he stole from his 83-year-old grandfather.
Jesus.
man.
He began distributing the money among his classmates, handing out thousands of dollars before school officials noticed what was going on. The police confiscated property bought with the stolen money, and they recovered $7,000. The teen was charged in juvenile court with delinquency by way of theft from the elderly, and there was a classmate of his that also faced delinquency count because he was receiving stolen property after their grandparents took the teens on a shopping spree with the stolen money.
Oh, my God. Wow.
That's some Ohio shit.
Ballin' ass 13-year-old, just like
Ohio
gang,
shit.
gang.
Yeah. Wow. All singles, though, but yeah, fucking
Yeah,
A.
yeah.
It's all $100
Wow.
bills.
Damn.
In pennies, shit. 83 years
pennies.
old? Fuck.
In pennies. Yeah, I remember when I had a paper out having to fucking roll pennies and God, I fucking hated that shit. Oh shit! All right, well, good stuff. Always
Fucking right.
provide some good fodder for Murder Metal Mayhem. We love it. So, all right, well, we have done our fair share of murdering tonight. I think it's time to crank up some fucking metal. So, Shane, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our fucking metal on, boys.
Hell yeah,
right.
dude.
Thanks,
We'll see
Shane.
ya.
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
We are in metal and always devoted to the great CK. Miss him so much. Just so many times in a given day, I'll think of something, like a new band, and I'm like, man, just always used to love getting a hold of CK and seeing if he heard of this new band I discovered.
He's like, oh yeah, I heard of them fucking every.
I've got every album.
God
But yeah.
damn it, dude.
CK was the metal master, and because of him, we now pass the horns each week, and it's my week. I've got the horns, and they're actually horns. They're like goat horns, so it's kind of cool, goat horns. And 3 of them.
Joey, you had them last week, and you got yours at home. We got ours here. I just handed them to Pete.
That's right.
So he got the horns.
I'm going to have Chris take a picture of me with the horns here.
Fucking
I
right.
got the horns, so that means
Hold
that
them
I
up,
get
hold
to...
them up in front of me holding the horns. Can you do that?
Yeah. You got to.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah,
Hang
we
on.
got this.
Yeah, hang on.
We got this, homie. There it is. There it is.
Chris is
Yeah.
taking... All right, very cool. So we all got goat horns, and it's my turn, so I got the horns tonight. And so I'm going to be talking about the band that I'm featuring, which is Skullpture. These guys are really cool.
Skull.
Yeah, and I like the way they spell the name, and it's actually, I asked them this in the interview I did with them, because it's spelled skull, just like you would spell skull, and then they add the Pture at the end. The bass player told me that it's an autopsy song, and it is. I looked it up, called Sculptures, spelled just like that.
Right on.
So that's where he got the idea. He's into autopsy, so that's fucking cool. But these guys are formed in 2009 in Santiago, Chile. The band members, Daniel Rodriguez, who's been there since they started, he's the one that I originally contacted, and he's been awesome. Pedro Damaso on guitar, who has been in the band in 2009 when they started, but he left in 2011 but came back in 2017. Francisco Quiero on vocals since 2017, and Francisco Sereno on drums since
Francisco
2017.
squared?
Yeah, so you got 2 Franciscos.
Fuck yeah.
And I told them if all the band members were there, we would have 2 Franciscos and 2 Pedros because of me, So we were laughing about that. So these guys are classic, like old school death metal. Their influences, just like you would expect. Now, these guys are younger, but they still had some good old school Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Autopsy, fucking Obituary, shit like that. They released their first album in 2011 called Skullpture, The Sinister Art. I don't have that one. It's not streaming that I saw, but Reborn in Decay is fucking badass. That's a full length. They put that out in 2019. And then their latest release is the EP called A Horrifying Death, which is also really good. They did a video for that song too, which is cool. They do it in their practice spot, but they did a really good job with it. They're on a small indie label from here in the United States. It's in New York, called Adirondack Black Mass. I don't know much about the label. I was going to look into it, but they're on that label. They're trying to get some traction here in the United States. So I'm hoping people
Come on,
listening
y'all
will give them a
motherfuckers.
listen. Check these guys out. Order merch from their Bandcamp page. I get so much merch that way. It's really a great resource. So check their page out. They've got all kinds of merch on there. Not quite like Skeletal Remains, who's got like fucking Walmart worth of merch. But these guys have some good merch. I got a t-shirt from them. I had a really good 30-minute conversation with their singer, Francisco, and Daniel, the bass player. So we're going to, check it out, let you, see a little piece of this thing. But the singer, Francisco, is actually going to China for about 6 months to finish up his PhD in economics. So this guy
About to be a doctor
is
and
fucking
shit.
smart and shit. Check out the big brain on Brad.
Dude, like motherfuckers just be getting PhDs and shit, but still shredding.
Yeah, I
motherfucking-
mean, he's a fucking growler, it's cool. So he's a bass player by trade, but he switched over to just vocals. So check out this 5-minute clip. This is where we talk about their new EP and the concept behind it. It's really cool. Now, you've got a new EP that just came out called A Horrifying Death. How did that all come about? Where did you guys record that?
Well, Horrifying Death starts with the idea of making a short recording in comparison with recording Decay album IP. It was an LP with 10 songs. So the idea was we need to make music again, but we want to do something different, kind of more intensive, more aggressive, a new type of sound, but in the short way. Not in this idea of taking a process of 1 year of composing and recording and making the lyrics and so on and so on. So this idea was, we gathered together in some bar, and we came with the idea. It's like, what will be a great concept for EP? We were watching this anime series. It's called Attack on Titan. My friend here comes with the idea. He tells me, this anime is really brutal, man. It's like there are giants eating people, massacre slaughters everywhere. So it's like, he told me, it's like, if you see this shit, you are seeing death metal. So I told Daniel, "Oh, let's see it." And it was really cool. It's like
Awesome.
really gore, really brutal. So I started to watch to read the manga, and he came with the idea of a lyric. So it's like this process when the citizens were devoured by these giant creatures. So that's kind of brutal. Let's make a lyric with this. Let's continue with the idea. This is the definition of a horrifying death. So this was the concept. It's like, imagine by a giant creature and seeing your family die and all your dreams destroyed by this giant that are totally indifferent with the situation you're
That's
living.
very
in,
metal,
and
yes.
all this shit. It's like, this is a really good concept to make music.
Yeah.
So this was the idea of a horrifying death. And then the other ideas were fluent with this. For example, we hate like Christian religion a lot. So came the idea with Infamous, like this song, which it talks about the hypocrisy of the Christian religion and the Catholic Church here in Latin America. We have like these really big cults adoring God and taking the money from the poor and all that kind of shit that happens in ideas. And with these 5 songs, we say the process is complete, and we talk with our friend Sergio Rojas. He's from Nihil Records. We last LP, and we put our band to work together, and then in 2 days of recording, we have a horrifying death complete.
Wow.
Complete recording.
That's awesome.
It was a short process.
Yeah, that's really cool.
A really intensive and short process.
Yeah. Now you guys did a music video for the title track of that song, and that was a really cool video. I like when bands, do their own thing, and obviously, you got to do it on a low budget, and you guys made it work. It really turned out good. How did you guys do that? Was that just did it yourselves?
First, have the idea to do an official video time ago.
Yeah, the process was kind of quick too. When we make all the scenes for the video, we came with the idea that you say is like we make every penny work because low budget, very short time for us to make it.
Do it yourself.
Yes, like do it yourself. It's like that kind of shit. So our friend has this is yes. This is the only way to make it true. He has the idea of making a video for us, and then he make all the shots.
What about a record label? Are you guys on? So there you go, a little taste of that. It was these guys are really cool. And so the full interview will be available this Friday, the day after this episode drops. And I did have to do some editing, but these guys were so nice and they were so cool. And I had such a good rapport with them that I wanted to put the time in to clean it up the best that I could because there were some internet issues on their end. But great guys. So go check out Skullpture. Really like them. All right, Joey, what about that Lost Classic, dude? What are you going to deal tonight?
I had a couple in mind, and then I'm just going to say that's what I was listening to when we talk about our metal shit. But
yeah,
because I had to change it up today. My Lost Classic was a compilation CD that I was listening to.
I saw you post
today.
it.
Yeah.
Dude, that was badass, man.
Yeah, I can't remember. Now I can't remember what year it was, but it came out from Century Media and Olympic, and it was called What Lies Beneath. And I'm just going to fucking rattle off the bands that are on it. Napalm Death, Behemoth, Impaled, Divine Empire, Bloodbath, Incantation, Immolation, Swallow the Sun, Night Rage, Despised Icon, Internal Bleeding, Jungle Rot, Unleash, Grave, The Forsaken, Rotting Christ, and Christian. Fucking huge.
That's fucking a badass.
That's brutal as fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that Bloodbath song Eaten on there, which is my favorite. The one about Mivus.
Yeah.
The one about Armin Mivus, yeah. Fucking wicked. All right, so what have we been listening to lately, Chris?
Me, you know me, I fucking rattle, whatever all the time, but two things, like, I just, past few days, I don't know why, it's been in my fucking head, but I love it. I've been fucking jamming the shit out of fucking Guns N' Roses Lies. That fucking that fucking shit's badass to me. And then, I don't even remember how it's something new that I came across. Fucking, I don't even remember how I found it, but it's this band called Pupil Slicer. And like, I was like, all right. Yeah. I was like, all right. So I'm like checking them out and I'm seeing pictures of it. And it looks like it's going to be some kind of like, because it's a 3-piece and the vocalist is female. And then the pictures look like all fucking like hippie-ish and shit. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to give it a listen, check it out. And it's fucking heavy as fuck, dude. Pupil Slicer is freaking pretty bad fucking ass.
Wow.
It is heavy as shit. I was like not expecting that after I seen pictures of the band and shit. I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking check this shit out.
Well, a name like Pupil Slicer.
Right. But still, I mean, you could take that in different ways, like.
Right.
But still, when you. But no, they're fucking. If you ain't heard Pupil Slicer, check them out. They're newer shit that like what they just dropped isn't so great, but their older shit's just fucking just slamming, dude.
Huh? Okay.
Fucking badass.
What about you, Joey?
I've been jamming some Springfield shit. Annihilate.
Hell yeah, dude.
Always like bringing up them dudes. I also fucking was listening to a little bit of punk rock shit from back in my fucking early days. Being a skateboarder, I loved punk and shit growing up too, but there was a record label called Tang Records that was real big. And there was an album on there by a band called The Hard-Ons. The album's called Dick Cheese, and it's such a fucking good ass album. So I was jamming that. I ain't listened to it in a while. I got fucking from my homeboy out in Colorado, Hatchet fucked. He just got his new album, Moonlit Massacre. So that shit's fucking really good. He let me do guest vocals on a song, and also Jay from Lust to Decay did guest vocals on a song on it too.
Fucking right, dude. That's badass.
Yeah, I don't know, jamming all that shit, jamming a lot lately.
That's cool, man. I am still on that fucking Blood Red Throne kick. I went all the way back. I'm like 6 albums in. Started from the most recent, going backwards. I'm at Souls of Damnation, which is badass. I wanted to see if they had a DVD, so I searched for it and found one on eBay. I bought it, but then it came with the CD, like a digipack, so that was really cool. Yeah. So I got Souls of Damnation on CD, and it came with the DVD of how they made it, which I always love those. Cannibal Corpse had a really good one with the Kill album, and I'm just fascinated with how bands record and watching the process. I just love to see how different bands do it a little differently, and it's just something to me very fascinating. So that was cool. So that's what I've been jamming. And then also, I don't know if you guys saw, I posted a review of Hate Sphere, the new one called Hatred Reborn. Very badass, good thrash metal from Denmark. Really, really cool. And I'm going to be speaking to the founding member. These guys have been around for almost 25 years. It's really amazing.
Goddamn, dude.
Pepe from Hate Sphere is going to be me and him are going to talk. His name is Peter, but he goes by Pepe. So
Pepe Le Pew.
So two guys.
You getting canceled, bro.
So these guys are cool. Like I said, it's thrash. Now they've had a lot of lineup changes in that many years, with a few different singers, but they've been really consistently good, even with different people in there. So
and that's badass.
Pepe is the only original member, so he's been there the whole time, and he's just absolutely killing it. So definitely check them out. Hate Sphere, I really like those guys.
Fucking right.
All right, Chris, you got the horns next. What's the plan?
I think I'm gonna do.
Winger.
I'm gonna do the fucking county medical examiners.
Nice.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Cool.
So I'm definitely doing those guys. Those guys fucking just wait till you guys hear. If you ain't heard of these guys, holy shit.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I've heard them before.
No, I know. I'm talking to our listeners.
Right.
Holy shit. What they do and who they are. Holy fuck.
Right. All right. Well, very good. That should be awesome. That'll be next week. And bands, I've mentioned this before. If you're in a band and you want to send us your stuff, send it to us at pete@murdermetalmayhem.com. There's no guarantee we're going to play it. But if we like it, we'll review it, maybe.
Check her out.
Maybe do an interview and feature you here on the show. But the only way to know is to send it in. And if you want to go old school, you can do that at Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois 61745.
Send us some stickers and shit, yo.
Stickers are great. We put them on the door. That's why skull plates. Skull plates. See,
Ah,
I did
there
it.
you go. You did
Skullpture. I knew I was going to do it. Yeah, back when I did heavycore, there was a band from Oklahoma City called Skull Plate, so I kept wanting to mix them up. Skullpture sent me 2 stickers with the shirt, so I put one on the table and one on the door. So yeah, send us a sticker. That's really cool. And if you want to send us a Pop-Tarts, that's good too. Excuse me.
Let me tell you all about fucking St. Patrick's
Yes,
Day.
I want to hear about this.
Not a whole lot to tell, but up here in the 419, we put on a little show for St. Patrick's Day, and it was a free show.
Hell yeah.
My buddy Sean from the band Alien 666, which is the shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Sean's a homie, too.
Yeah, Chris got to see them play because they came up to Michigan and shit. But anyway, fucking, he bought this house on the outskirts of Toledo, so he lives in Oregon, Ohio, right outside Toledo on the east side. And fucking, so where he moved to, there's this tiny ass little bar, like literally 4 houses down from his house. And fucking, so he's been in there like hanging out and shit, and they told him, hey, why don't you put on a show up here? And we're like, fuck, man, all right, we'll see what we can do. So it was Goremonger, this band Terra Umbra, they're from a little bit south of us, like an hour south, and then Alien 666. So it was only the 3 bands. We didn't really know what the hell we're doing. We don't know how to run sound or nothing like that.
Right.
And the house had a PA, like a decent one, you know. So I was like, okay, well, we can make it happen with what we got, you know. We'll figure it out. We don't know if there's going to be any people at this show. We don't fucking know. It's a free fucking show.
Yeah, don't give a shit. We're hanging out at the bar.
Yeah.
Fucking whatever.
Yeah. But we're like, he's blasting the flyer up on fucking like, you know, like local fucking chat pages and shit. And these motherfuckers that are admins for the pages, who I'm not going to mention or anything, but we're pretty sure some of them are in some bigger bands there in Toledo. But they're like deleting our posts constantly, like won't even let us share the flyer. Yeah, bogus
that's
as fuck.
up.
So, like, even on top of that, we're like, okay, you know. So we go up there, man, the fucking place is packed. There's fucking people all over the place.
Oh, fuck yeah,
dope.
dude.
I played first, and we get the shit going. And so I'm going to play an extended fucking set since there's only 3 bands we're trying to fill the time, you know. Man, I get like probably 6, 7 songs. I was probably going to play like 13 songs. I'm probably like 7, 8 songs in. It's going well. Like, I'm fucking mind boggled like that this show is like decent.
Popping
I'm like,
like that.
okay. Yeah.
Right.
And then fucking man, then all of a sudden I smell the plastic burning. Fucking monitor,
Oh,
fucking left side goes out. And I'm like, oh fuck, and you know, so I finished that song. I try to play through another one, but me doing the one-man drum machine shit, like,
Gotta
if I
have
don't
the
hear my
monitors.
drums right, yeah, I can't fucking do it without it, so. And plus, you know, I'm smelling the fucking burning and shit. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop so
You're
the
gonna have
other
a
bands
great
can
white
play.
situation.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking, bro. Like, for
Yeah.
real. I was like, I'm not gonna have the station up in here. But anyway, fucking, they went and Sean sent his drummer for Alien 66 back up to his house, which is 4 houses away, like we said. And we grabbed a combo amp, and the rest of the bands did their vocals through that, and they had real drummers.
Right.
And it worked out fine, and Terra Umbra fucking tore it up. Alien 666 with a dope set, so fucking St. Patrick's Day in the 419, the first show that I've been part
Awesome.
of throwing up here, fucking was pretty much a success, so.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Shout
that's
out.
badass. dude.
Congratulations.
Fuck
That's
yeah, dude.
fucking
I'm glad.
cool as hell, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
that
always
that
good
makes
to
me
hear.
happy, dude.
Another thing that made me happy here just the other day, I think it was yesterday, as a matter of fact, I got my book, For Fact's Sake, the one I mentioned when I did the Bob Daisley
Yes,
feature.
Oh, yeah.
And Mick, our listener, sent that to me. Very fucking cool. Now, remember, I think I mentioned this. I know I told you guys about it, but I sent him 2 shirts, one of each kind, and some stickers and a picture of us all with CK that CK signed.
Right.
I still have a few of those. So I sent him all that, but I sent it the day after he sent me the book. So it was kind of like a little funny contest, like
who's
we'll
gonna
see who
get there
gets here
first?
first. So all I got to say is that Uncle Sam pulled through and got the shirts to him the day before. So it was like 2 days quicker sending it from me to him than
him
it
to
was
you.
from him to me. So, but
I
it was
don't like
cool.
it. Y'all got your shit though. That's
We
what's
did.
up.
It was in perfect shape. He packed it well. It was just fantastic. So I can't say enough how much I appreciate it. I love Bob Daisley, just a huge influence on me, got me interested in playing bass. Crazy Train was the first song I learned, and that's one of his. The guy wrote so much of the fucking early Ozzy stuff. It's unbelievable. Anyway, really, really cool. So thank you, Mick. That was really great.
Fuck yeah.
And we're going to be talking to Mick here in a couple weeks for the Tilly Divine episode. She's the one that fucking busting out the straight razor and fucking some people up. It's going to be a good one. And we're going
Yo,
to talk
females
to him.
can kill too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know that.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to talk to Mick about her and some other craziness in Australia. So that should be great. And that'll be on the schedule for May because she's going to be part of our ladies, the moms of May. some pretty brutal women, and we've got a good lineup this May. And then we decided, hey, we do it with the mothers. Why
We're
not?
going to do June fucking fathers.
That's right. And we got some pretty brutal ones. We're going to do the Murdoch.
Yeah, we just came up with our list tonight, y'all. So we just came up with some good ones.
We got some good ones, but I will tease it. We are going to do Alex Murdoch. We're going to do that case, and we're also going to do Ariel Castro, which has been on our list for a long time. The fucking Cleveland piece of shit.
And
Anyway,
a father that did not murder.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do Lionel
fucking
Dahmer.
Dahmer,
We're going
yeah.
to talk about that. Joey, you brought that up.
That was a
that was
great
kind of a
idea.
cool concept. Why don't you explain that?
I don't know. We were talking about doing fathers, and when it comes to serial killers, like, there's a few relatives of the killers that have, kind of put themselves in the spotlight afterwards. Jesperson's daughter,
Right.
She does that really good podcast.
BTK.
BTK, right? So, Dahmer, like, unintentionally, his dad has had tons of interview time.
Right.
He's shown the house where they lived. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with Lionel Dahmer, and that's a man. His whole story is so fascinating because you could tell that he has just, ever since it broke out what happened, he has struggled to figure out what the hell happened.
Right, what did I
happened
do
to my
wrong?
kid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did I
there's
create
some-
this,
Yeah, and there's some creepy coincidences and times that happened whenever he was around Jeffrey growing up.
Right.
That we'll talk about.
Yeah.
That is just fucking creepy as shit.
Right. Definitely. So that'll be interesting. And then the last one, Joey, you and Chris brought this one up.
Fucking Chris Watts.
Chris Watts, that's a
Yeah,
fucked up
fucking-
one,
Yeah,
not
that's
too
a
long
fucking
ago.
fucked up story, dude.
So some fucked up fathers for June. So those are some sneak peeks of what we got going on here coming up in the schedule. Some good topics. Never ending supply of them, that's for sure.
God damn.
The 666 Club is a way you can help support the show. That's our Patreon.
Come on.
$3 a month is
$3
all it
dude,
is.
that's all you got to do. It ain't shit, man.
Yeah, you can help support the show, and you get the episodes a day early. You get 10% off merch, and it's just a cool way to help us out and support what we're doing. So thank
We love
you,
it
those
when-
of you
we
that
love you
do
all.
it.
We love it when you help us out too. Cause
That's right.
this might not be a job right now, but it's work. It's still work.
It is a lot of work, but it is fun. All right, Chris. Well, we got plenty of metal tonight, but what the fuck we got to do now?
Guess we're getting our fucking mayhem on. Holy shit.
Hello, Starlight Tours Taxi Company. How can I help you?
Yeah, I need a ride to Midtown Plaza, downtown Saskatoon. I'm visiting from New York. I need a ride back to my hotel at 11 p.m.
Okay, got it. So that was a one-way trip to the middle of fucking nowhere on Route 12?
No. I need a fucking ride to the Midtown Plaza, downtown, and a ride back later.
There must be some static on the line, sir. We only do one-way trips, and you can pick your desolate destination on Route 12 to the north or Route 5 to the east of town. Those are your only two options.
It's fucking cold outside, and there's at least a fucking foot of snow. Why the fuck would I want to be dropped off out there? Hell, I'd freeze to fucking death.
Okay, so now I think you are starting to get it. But I'm going to send the Saskatoon police so they can rough your sorry ass up first and take your winter coat before they throw you out of the squad car. It will be a real Starlight Tour.
Oh man, brand new commercial there. Shane busting out the voice. Wow. Did a great job. I did my New York voice, and so that was in poor taste. But as always with Murder Metal Mayhem, that's the way we roll. And then before that, the song "A Horrifying Death" by Skullpture. Really dig those guys. I hope you guys check them out and become a fan. I really like seeing a young band that's trying to really do something, and that's just super cool. So, all right, well, we got a new thing we're going to do. Like Joey does page a day at the end of the murder segment, we're going to try something. I got this book from my daughter, Katie, for Christmas. It's really cool, the Serial Killer Cookbook. A lot of cool tidbits and information about serial killers. So I thought when we start the Mayhem segment, like right now, that we would just randomly pick a story out of this book. And Chris, we got page 51 is the first one. And what are you going to tell us? What wisdom are you going to share from the Serial Killer Cookbook?
All right, so page 51 out of this book is Thomas J. Grasso, born November 23rd, 1962, to died on March 20th, 1995. So this dude, James Grasso, he murdered and was charged with killing 2 elderly victims. He strangled 2 elderly women in their 80s on one was 87 in her home on Christmas Eve, and robbed her of whatever she had, which is about $137. So he didn't get a whole lot of fucking money. 6 months later, he strangled 81-year-old Leslie Holt. And this asshole decides, like, I'm just going to take I'm going to kill her and take her Social Security.
Oh, wow. So pulling like a reverse Dorothea Puente thing.
Yeah, kind of. But he's on the attack.
The male version.
But he's on the attack. He's not coming in, like, he's not having victims come to his house.
Right.
So does that. But he got fucking convicted and everything. And like I said, he died in 95 because he was injected with bilethal injection. But now his last meal.
This is great.
His last meal. Here's what I want to say.
This is some ridiculous shit here.
His last meal was 2 dozen steamed mussels, 2 dozen steamed clams with lemon, a Burger King double cheeseburger, half a dozen barbecued spare ribs, 2 strawberry milkshake. He's fucking like goddamn Henry Lee Lucas with them strawberry milkshakes.
Fuck yeah, Palmo.
Fucking half of a fucking pumpkin pie with whipped cream, mind you. You gotta have the whipped cream on the pumpkin pie. Diced strawberries, and a can of SpaghettiOs with meatballs. Now he's fucking pissed because the can of fucking he received of the SpaghettiOs was regular spaghetti with meatballs.
Oh,
hey, we talked about that. Remember that?
Yeah.
We have talked about this one.
We have talked about this one. Yeah, he's pissed off because fucking it's probably a page a day.
It's very possible.
Yeah, no, the SpaghettiOs. I remember that now.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Like pissed off because his fucking spaghetti and meatballs was spaghetti, not SpaghettiOs.
That's ridiculous, his whole last meal. Though.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, remember Tex was saying now they just eat whatever's on the menu that day at the prison. That's what you're eating. So.
Well, now, all right, that's what this motherfucker had for his last meal. So at the end, he's just like, his last statement was a grievance, talking like bitching. He's like, I didn't get my SpaghettiOs. I got regular spaghetti, and I want the press to know this. Like, he was pissed off. That was his last shit that he could say. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Jeez.
So now.
Thomas Grasso, wow.
Now, this motherfucker not being fucking, not loving them fucking goddamn canned spaghettis that he got. He got his own SpaghettiOs fucking goddamn recipe. And it's like, and like in the list it says it's almost just as easy to make, which it's not, because a can of SpaghettiOs, you open a can, you dump it in.
Right.
This motherfucker's got a whole ounce like tomato sauce, fucking milk, onion powder, fucking, and then he's got 2 sizes of ring pasta and how to cook it and everything. His own
my
recipe
God,
on how to
that's
make
too
homemade
confusing.
pasta.
How do
But
you
yeah.
do better than SpaghettiOs?
I mean, Chef Boyardee
mean-
got her down, bro.
Yeah, SpaghettiOs with meatballs is a shit.
But yeah, dude, fucking, the dude's fucking last meal assignment
That's
was just
hilarious.
like insane.
Wow.
Like he's getting all these fucking goddamn mussels and clams and shit. Like he's trying to go fuck. You ain't fucking. You're getting.
Yeah, that's interesting. All
Yeah,
right,
that
well,
was
very
fucking
cool.
crazy as shit, dude.
Very
And
cool.
y'all got some mayhem stories this
We
evening,
do,
right?
Joey. Did you want to go first, or how do you?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
The one that I had was derived because of what we're talking about tonight, the Starlight Tours and shit. And it made me think about, this didn't happen to me. This happened to somebody that I know, but it's fucked up. He used to be a heroin junkie, and he was also a fucking rich kid. So this motherfucker had money and shit, and he was fucking always going up to the fucking city of Chicago, and doing
Right.
dope and shit. And he had, like I said, he had money. His family had fucking loot, and he always had a fucking nice car since we was in high school. And shit.
Did he have a Supra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
You know what I'm talking
I
about.
know what you're talking about.
But man, yeah, he had a dope ass car, and fucking, he goes up to the city and fucking picks up some blows and shit, and comes back, and the cops pull him over. Cops are so fucking bogus in Chicago, you don't even know. They fucking make him fucking wait on the side of the fucking road with the other cop. The cops take his car, drive, it's all fucking tinted out so you can't even see inside it. They drive up to the fucking tip where they just got the drugs and fucking bust those dudes fucking that are selling
In his
fucking
car,
heroin.
yeah.
Cause in his car. So now fucking the fucking they can't even go back up there and get the dope because now these people think that the fucking cops are working with them. That's some fucking scandalous shit by the cops, though, right?
Wow, right.
Fucking,
And dude, that whip was badass too.
yeah, no, it was awesome. So anyway, when I heard of the Starlight thing, it made me think about that,
Yeah.
about some of the scandalous shit the Chicago cops do. But that one was really fucked up. I couldn't believe that shit.
Right.
Let me tell a quick mayhem story about the same dude.
Yeah.
So when we were teenagers, like before we had our license and shit, we were all riding our BMXs and shit, right?
All badass.
But homie had a fucking like the baddest BMX. He had a fucking Haro Master.
This is before heroin, though.
Yeah, this is before heroin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The baddest fucking bike. Like, we lived in a small ass town. We got our fucking GTs and our red lines and all that. This motherfucker's got a Haro Master. Like, it's so badass, it's got insurance on it. He just, like motherfucker straight says, hey, if you just want to take this bike, get it away from her. I just want to take the insurance claim on it. I was like, all right, but if anything happens, I'm not fucking rolling. I'm telling him, like, you know, this is what happened. So that's what happened. I got this bike at my house. I ain't riding it or nothing. It's just at my house, stored away. Homie fucking just gave it to me, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna strip it down, fucking take parts and build another bike. Fucking like 3 days later, here comes fucking one of the main cops, fucking Interleaf, fucking, he's like, Shawback, where's the bike at? I'm like, what bike? He's like, you know what bike I'm talking about. I was like, all right, I got it. I'll go get it to you, dude. Like, this is not like, the motherfucker was scandalous at an early age like that, though, dude.
Wow.
Like,
That's funny.
yeah.
Well, talking about an early age, we were talking about something here just tonight, and I remembered a story about a thing that that I went through when I was young. And I don't think I've ever told this. If I have, you know, it's been an awfully long time. I just thought it would be funny. But anyway, when I first started playing bass, I was 17. I was a junior in high school, and this buddy of mine played guitar. He was really good. And he was like, man, if somebody just learned how to play bass, I could teach them, and, you know, they could pretty much be in whatever band they wanted to, because everybody's looking for bass players. Nobody's playing bass. So I was like, all right, what the hell? So I started playing bass. So anyway, this other friend of mine, he was a drummer. He was okay, but he was like really into punk. And he was like all about like dead Kennedys, Black Flag, shit like that. And I just didn't really dig it, you know. I liked the craziness of it, but I just wasn't a fan of the music. But, you know, when you're hanging out at his house, you got to kind of listen to his shit, you know, and that's the way it
You're
works.
at somebody's house, you listen to their music.
Exactly. So anyway, so he was really into this shit, and we were over at this one dude's house who had some, like a 4-track recorder.
Right.
And he's like, oh, we should write it. This dude that was into punk. He's like, we need to write a punk song. We need to write a punk song. And we're all like, well, I was like, I was there with my bass shit. And then the guy who had the recording shit, he was a pretty decent guitarist. And then this guy was a drummer, the punk guy, you know. So anyway, so I'm like, whatever, you know. So we're like, well, what should we write about? And there was this funny story in high school about this dude who was, I don't know what grade he was in, but he got caught jerking off in a barn.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, what the or where the barn was, like if it was his barn or somebody else's barn. I don't even remember. But he's in there just whacking it, and some girl fucking saw him, and she told everybody about this guy jerking off in the barn, right? So we're like, let's write the song about him, you know, and we had called him Barn Boy. That was like his nickname.
Right.
And like when he was a senior, he was a year older than us, I think. When he was a senior, we put like as much hay as we could fit in like 4 pickups and put it all over his fucking yard. And with a big sign, it says, congratulations, Barn Boy.
That's fucking great.
And then when we found out what fraternity he was in, because he went to Arizona State or wherever he went to college, we sent a packet of shit to the fraternity to tell them all about it.
That's fucking great.
With a copy of the song, because we recorded this song called Barn Boy. I wrote like half of the music, and I wrote all the lyrics. I just play bass on it, though. The guy that played guitar, he sang it in kind of like a Jello Biafra kind of voice, which is Dead Kennedys. And it was just funny. Like, we were laughing about it. It was fucking ridiculous. So anyway, there was a local radio station, college station, that used to play punk, again, the Adventure Hour or whatever they called it at night, where they would play all this crazy punk shit. He sent this tape to the station. And they played it. And not only did they fucking play it, this fucking thing was in regular rotation all day long.
Great, dude.
All day long they were playing this. And we were contacted by some big punk fest. I don't even remember where it was. They wanted us to come play. And we're like, we have one song.
Yeah, this is the only song we
This was like
have.
a goof, you know? And to make matters, so the name we came up with for this band name when we sent it in was, we had gone to New York City. The thing was, like, when I was like 16, 17, people would go to New York City and get a fake ID.
Right.
So I had one in the name of Richard Bagg. That was my fake ID name. So we came up with the band name Richard Bagg and the Gonads. And that's what we sent it in as. And so Richard Bagg and the Gonads was a big hit with Barn Boy. And this poor bastard that got caught jerking off in the barn never fucking lived it down.
Well, at least he wasn't fucking the sheep.
I guess, but yeah, it was pretty funny, and it was quite the thing. But I'm sure that guy really hated us for making a song and everything about him. So,
it is what
anyway,
it is.
If there's
man.
any Richard Bagg and the Gonads fans out there, I'm still here. I'm doing Murder Metal Mayhem though. So, all right, I thought you guys would get a kick out of
Yeah,
that.
that's fucking good.
All right, so Killer Cage match. We're there. We're getting into this one tonight. This is a good one. This is a favorite part of the show where we take a list of 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with in a cage to the death, and a variable and a song even playing
Yes,
while they're
sir.
doing it.
We got these
And
people.
Chris, we want to say thank you to some
Yes,
listeners.
we do. We got fucking Justin Morris, Colin Rogers and Ray McDaddy McFucking Falls.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. And we got a good one going on in the cage, Joey. What's the bout going down tonight?
Tonight we got David Parker Ray, and he's gonna go up against fucking Albert Fish.
Oh boy,
Empire of Brooklyn.
That's right. Toy Box Killer.
This variable.
Very interesting. And Chris, we got a couple of variables here. And ironically, we just brought this
weapons,
up when we
weapons, not the variable.
Yeah, sorry, the weapons.
We're going on the but yeah, you did bring up one of the fucking objects, though. Yeah,
yes.
Fucking, they got themselves a cast iron skillet and a pet rock.
A pet rock. And
how big is this fucking rock?
I don't know.
Is it like
hold
is it like
in your hand, not like a boulder? You know,
is it like a fucking teacup chihuahua or like a fucking goddamn Rottweiler or a fucking Mastiff?
No, it's like the palm of your hand. It's a rock.
All right.
That's it. A cast iron skillet, though, could do some damage. And Joey, what about the
this
variable tonight?
Holy fuck.
Michael Shawback in drag after drinking 4 shots of Malort.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. Michael Shawback again finds himself as a variable here in the Killer Cage match.
Dude.
Very good.
My brother be in there all the time.
That's right. And so this is
At
going to
least
be
he's
a
part of
good
the
one.
podcast with us.
That's right.
Love you,
That's right.
Michael.
So we got David Parker Ray going at it against Albert Fish in the cage. They got a cast iron skillet and a pet rock to fight with. Variable Michael Shawback in drag after drinking 4 shots of Malort.
Ugh, that's
and
gross.
the song playing, I didn't pick a song.
Holy
so
shit.
I fucked up
We
tonight.
got no fucking
There's no
music.
song. So
That's
they're
cool.
they're just going to be fighting with no music tonight. I'm sorry. I just dropped the ball there.
No, it's good. It's gonna be fucking. What's the song from Karate Kid? The fucking
The Karate Kid song?
Yeah.
All right, that'll work. All right, Chris, what do you think here?
All right.
Just remember, listeners, he's been drinking on
Look.
that McCormick.
No,
so
look. I've only had like 2 sips of it, dude. I ain't even been drinking it.
Okay.
I ain't even been drinking it. Like, so, like, first of all, goddamn fucking Parker Ray, this motherfucker's over here, like, looking at Michael. He's like, Michael's in drag. He's like, that's not my type. Ain't even about that life. Like,
and Michael's probably
Michael's
glad
over
about
there.
that.
Michael's over there, like,
oh fuck.
why am I dressed like this? What happened last
why
night?
am I chained
and why
to the
am I
wall?
drinking Malort? This is fucking retarded. Meanwhile, Albert Fish is looking over there at the same time. He's like, that piece of ass looks good, because he likes to cut the ass off
Yeah,
and
he
cook
likes
it.
to cook the ass in that skillet.
He's like, that
got a
skillet's
skillet.
sitting right there. He's like, man, I could cook some of that up, fucking cook it up. So, like, Albert Fish, he looks at fucking goddamn Parker Ray, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, Parker Ray's like, I ain't doing shit with this. Fucking Albert Fish is like, well, fuck, maybe me and you should just fight anyway. And he picks up that fucking rock and he just chucks it at David Parker Ray's fucking head, smacks him in the head with it, and fucking knocks him to the ground. Well, David Parker Ray's pissed.
Right.
He's pissed. He's like, dude, what the fuck, old man? I don't fucking care. So he fucking grabs Albert Fish. He drags him and fucking brings him. He's like, you ain't my type, but guess what? He ain't either, but you're fucking hurt me. Fuck you. I'm gonna fuck you up. So Michael's sitting there. He's drunk as shit on Malort. He just sits back and he's fucking jamming fucking goddamn Karate Kid music. Fucking
Doing spinning back
because
kicks
nobody
and shit.
neither one of these guys want anything to do with Michael, unless David Parker Ray's like, hey, you want in on what I'm doing here? But Michael's still like, nope, don't want nothing to do with it. So fucking David Parker Ray takes Albert Fish and he straps him onto the motherfucking goddamn his little V platform that he has the dogs fuck people with. Right. Straps him on there, takes that fucking iron skillet and just starts slapping the shit out of fucking Albert Fish's ass.
He probably loves it.
And
though.
Fish is like, oh wait, you got more? You got something more sharp? David Parker Ray's just freaked out like, wait, what do you mean? I got plenty. So he gets his old lady, what's her name? Misty Baum. I can't remember his old lady's name. She had that weird fucking name. He looks at her, he's like, hey, do you want to do something with this? So she's like, yeah, I got ideas. So she fucking grabs like the fucking ice pick and shit. She like shoves it right in his thigh, and fucking goddamn Albert Fish is just like, I enjoy that. Please do another, all night long. And I think fucking Michael's just out just being drunk on Malort for whatever reason, and I don't know why he's dressed in drag. But I think fucking David Parker Ray and his whole fucking crew are just having a good time with fucking Albert Fish. Albert Fish just laying back.
It's like a match made in heaven, you
right?
know, or hell,
Albert
or
Fish just
whatever you wanna
laying
look
back,
at
just
it.
like
Wow.
we can do this. I'm an old
All right,
man.
so they just
you like
establishing
debauchery.
a relation.
Yep,
All
and
right.
that's it. That's where I'm going with
All
it.
right, Joey?
Catherine's about to get gruesome. Watch.
Yeah, Joey, what do you got, dude?
No, I don't know. This is, the bell rings on this one. There's no fucking music. It's not very Killer Cage match. Everybody's fucking pissed off. Fucking Michael is sitting there like, what the fuck am I wearing this drag?
Right, exactly.
Why does my breath smell like Malort? And most of all, why is there no music? So Michael, first off, he goes in the middle of the fucking ring, grabs the pet rock and the skillet, and starts beating out a fucking rhythm on that motherfucker.
Nice.
And he's sitting there in drag, just looking pretty as hell, with his fucking nipples all hard, and he's jamming and making a little beat on the skillet. So the music thing's got taken care of for a minute by drunk Malort drag Michael. And then, so now we got the rest of this fight going on. Now the problem with this fight is David Parker Ray is gonna fucking destroy Albert Fish, because Albert Fish isn't fast enough. He's fucking too goddamn old. He's like a fucking iron skillet. I can't even pick that up. Albert Fish cannot pick up an iron skillet. And so then maybe the pet rock, if he's got two hands, he might be able to get it. So it's like fucking so goddamn simple that the obvious answer here is that David Parker Ray is going to kill him. But the problem is right before he goes to strike the gray man down by slashing his fucking neck with his fucking fingers, which are fucking long and gross.
Yes.
All of a sudden, right before he does that, there's like some kind of transmorphic universe twist where all of a sudden this huge fucking phone booth drops out of the sky with Rufus and Bill and Ted in it.
Out of here. I love
and then right on the other side of the cage match, a DeLorean falls into the fucking ring
geez.
Holy
with
shit.
Michael J. Fox and the Doc.
Nice.
And they're both looking at them, and the whole point of this is they got to take these guys back in time, or they need to take them somewhere else, or they need to do something where they got to show them that really what's going on is that David Parker Ray becomes Albert Fish in a past life.
Holy
So
fuck.
they've got to keep them alive. You can't kill either of them
wow.
right now, because for David Parker Ray to fuck bitches with his dogs, and for Albert Fish to fuck little girls and eat them, they got to fucking survive. So this can't happen. So right before they jump into the phone booth and fucking get towed away by the DeLorean, Albert Fish grabs the pet rock and uses it to scratch a note on the skillet to David Parker Ray's parents, telling them that he fucking killed him and he would have ate his ass.
God damn.
So kind of
like it.
a twist on the Grace Bud letter, right?
I love it. I love it.
Very good. Always a fun part of the show. Some killer cage match. So that was excellent. All right. You could pick up one of my books if that's your thing, if you like horror and that sort of stuff. Thrillers. PeteAltieri.com. I got some writing samples on there. Got a web store. You can buy any of the books you like. They all come with a free poster and a bookmark, and I'll sign it. And good
If you ask him nice enough, he might jerk off on it.
Oh, no. I don't know about that. PeteAltieri.com. MurderMetalMayhem.com. We've been talking about that. You can go on there, subscribe to our email list. You can check out the online store. It's all secure and legit. It's got a shopping cart. You can do whatever you like. We got 2 different shirts on there, but the original shirts are very few left. We got the zombie shirts with CK on it, which are great. We got die cut stickers. We got our activity book. You can even sign up for the 666 Club right there and save 25%.
Fucking right.
So a lot of good stuff there. Christmas is coming up here, you know. Who knows? It comes
Coming
before
up.
So, you know, you want to shop for those metalheads on your list. Get it early, you know. Shop early. MurderMetalMayhem.com.
Go check out YouTube, yo.
That's right. We got
Fucking-
that YouTube channel. I got the Matt Bishop interview up on there, the Skeletal Remains interview on there.
Sculpture's about to be coming up.
No, Skullpture, I can't put the video on.
Oh, yeah, the video. Yeah, my bad.
The Hate Sphere one, though, I'm doing this Sunday. Hopefully that video works out. So, yeah, we got a lot of them coming out. And so get on that YouTube channel, subscribe, like the videos, because that helps more people see them. So, all right. Well, I think we have done plenty of Mayhem tonight. 3 stories tonight from each one of us. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
So let's hit the outro, guys. Fuck yeah, man. I like those guys. The UK thrash band Divine Chaos and the song Shadow of God. Those guys fucking shred. I think they got some new shit getting ready to come out. Everybody's got shit coming out. It's just unbelievable. It's like every fucking week is just great releases.
Dude,
I'm just loving it, man.
Everything that pops up on any of my fucking Facebook feed or whatever, there's just like tour after tour after tour after tour. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
The
it really
fuck
is.
is happening?
Big thanks to Shane Borczuch for coming on with
thank you,
us
Shane.
from
We love you, brother.
Winnipeg, Canada.
Hell yeah.
Great to have him poutine up the episode, and we did a good one there in the Starlight Tours. So thank you, Shane, for coming on. And thanks again to Jeff at Killers the Card Game for sponsoring this episode.
Yes.
Go on and check out the links in the episode description to get a game for yourself. Perfect.
It's fun to play. It really
if you're
is.
into this podcast, you'll love that game. Serial killer card game, role-playing game. It's great. I mean, what the fuck else do you need to know?
We'll be talking to him soon.
That's right. He's going to be a guest host on the show as well. Bumper music tonight, Joey?
Tonight we listened to Skullpture, Divine Chaos, and 7 Doors.
Oh, yeah. That 7 Doors is so wicked with the one-man fucking machine. And holy shit.
Dude, that shit was nasty.
It's brutal, yeah, for sure. He contacted, is it him? I can't remember how. I think that guy contacted me and asked me to check it out, and I was like, holy shit. The metal segment, Chris?
Always, motherfucking Christ, the great metal motherfucker.
That's right. You got CK's nickname from that song, so that's always a thing. And the Murder Metal Mayhem intro music by Low 12. Thanks, you guys, for listening out there. It was awesome to see us hit 666,000 total listens. That was badass. It happened this weekend. So we appreciate that, and we get some good comments to read. Chris, why don't you read that first one?
Number 1, we got Jen Kilmeade. Yeah? Kilmeade. Yeah. Jen Kilmeade says, I live in Birmingham, England, but was born in Belfast. I loved Shane Borczuch's episode you guys did. I thought you explained it very well.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah,
fucking
thanks,
spread
Jen.
that shit, Jen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fuck.
Joey,
that was
what
a
about
fucking violent shit, too.
That was a violent one. Yeah, Shane Borczuch's episode was a good one. And it got a lot of listens, too. Joey, what about that second one?
The next one's from Ben T. Grimes, and Grimes said, "You guys fucking kill me every week. The Arvin Mavis one you did was so sick that guy was fucked in the head."
That's for sure.
No, both of them were.
Yeah,
bro.
both of those
of
guys
them
were fucked in the head. That's for sure. All right, Evelyn James 7 comments, I love the Skeletal Remains interview. Those guys are my favorite modern death metal band. Fuck yeah, I know Matt Bishop was all about Skeletal Remains when we talked to him, Joe. He was all digging on them. So yeah, those guys are killer, man.
Yeah, Skeletal Remains is shit.
What about that last one, Chris?
Rounded Daltrey says, My hubby and I listen to you guys every week in Las Vegas. No.
Don't make fun of old Rhoda.
I'm not making fun of her, dude.
And she might be related to Roger Daltrey. I don't know. I mean, she's a listener.
Anyway, says,
you know we're fools, Rhoda.
my hubby and I listen to you guys every week in Vegas. I love listening to you on earbuds when I'm cleaning my house. Everyone thinks I'm crazy when I bust out laughing at some of the shit you guys say. Because we say some dumb shit. So
we do.
Thank you, Rhonda.
We do. It's Rhoda, I think. Rhoda Daltrey.
Rhoda.
All right. Pick up a copy of my latest book, Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks. Check the episode description for a link to get on my website, PeteAltieri.com. Also, don't forget about MurderMetalMayhem.com, the web store, bio, CK, tribute, all kinds of cool shit on there. And so we appreciate you guys supporting the cause, MurderMetalMayhem.com. Joey, what about your distro? What's the latest?
You want me? Hold on. Let me tell you something funny that I saw the other day.
What's that?
What? No, this is the last time that I went back to Illinois. Whenever
for my birthday?
For your birthday, and I was on the podcast. But anyway, we were driving through Fairbury, me and Testes, and fucking whatever road we turned onto to turn on to 24 going into Fairbury. There's a huge fucking billboard talking about fucking web pages and fucking web design and shit by Steve Tooley. And I'm just thinking about that dude fucking jagged us off and fucking, but he was a fucking tool for sure. But no, it was just funny because I turned around and looked and I saw this big billboard for his shit. And I'm like, dude's a fucking, he's a chump.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
All right, what about your distro?
Oh yeah, my distro. I'm sorry.
He's like, oh wait, that.
Yeah. I got a lot of shit. I fucking finally got all my CDs fucking moved around and shit for the first time. I saw
that,
forever.
dude. Noise.
Yeah, it's quite the collection.
So I found fucking like 30 fucking duplicate albums that I had. I knew I had some in there.
Right.
Because I just never knew what else I had already bought. But anyway, so I'm going to update the list. I got a bunch of shit. I fucking sold a fucking ton of Goremonger shirts and shit at the last show, which is really cool.
Nice. Awesome.
So I've only got a handful left in large and extra large for the Horflix 3 shirts. Got the CDs. I got all kinds of shit. And also, if we have any fucking listeners up in Michigan area and want to catch a Goremonger play, April 15th, I'm playing up there in Jackson, Michigan.
Okay, I know where that is.
666.
I had to work up there, right by Canada.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You can see the bridge right there. It goes right there. Right. Yeah, it's cool.
But anyway, so
basically like the New Year's Eve show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome, man. Always good to hear about you doing stuff, Joey. It's good that we're all doing different things and keeping what we like on the forefront. Like us on Facebook, at least our Facebook group, since Facebook jacked our page. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I mentioned the Patreon. Support the show. $3 a month. Join that 666 club. We can't let him go without hearing a karaoke song. Here's another blast from my past, so crank this one up. And until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And stay the fuck out of the goddamn frigid ass cold. Fuck them cops.
Hey.
Revving up your engine, listen to her howl and roar. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Heading into twilight, spreading out her wings tonight. She's got you jumping off the deck and shoving into overdrive. Highway to the danger zone. I'll take you right into the danger zone. Never Further on the edge, the hotter the intensity. Highway to the danger zone. Gonna take it right into the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Gonna take it right into the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. The danger zone. Gonna take it right into the danger zone. Fuck yeah, right highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Mayhem in the danger zone. Right into the danger zone.
Mother, man.